down under 267, I was like, I'm over it. What's up, y'all? Take Discord, or excuse me, YouTube. Guys, yeah, good. It was pretty good. I know some people got stuck in the ETFs, so I'm not speaking for everybody, but I had a good couple trades. Oh, what is this chill? All right. I've been watching your YouTube videos since you left. Oh my God. Well, damn. That's one way to take it serious. Love it. Damn zipper. Come here. I'm getting beaten up by a zipper right now. Hold on. That's because there's two zippers. Got the cool sunshine. I might have broken it. Fuck. There we go. 1 second, guys. Here we go. Today was a day to take a walk. On the ETFs, yes. On the ETFs, I can't agree more. Some of the individual equities did what they were supposed to do, but all right. So we got it's 2:35 here. Um, just go ahead and let everybody know. Keeping my eyes here on HD as we get towards the end of the day. It's showing a little weakness, but we don't have to take it yet. It is looking pretty good. I saw somebody in the Discord posted like a what the fuck was it? It was like a 2,900% gain on 407.50 calls. So I was like, how the hell? For 213 too. So I don't know what he did on those, but he got a super big influx of volume on those. All right, so let's
Must have bought him at 0.
uh-huh.
You must have got him at 1 cent.
Yeah, really must have. I mean, it happens sometimes. All right. What's up? Good evening, good afternoon. Let me alert one more time. What the fuck? TikTok. Yeah, be sure to tap your screen if you're here on TikTok. For the chart setup, do you still use the bundle for the? Yeah, same thing. Nothing, no change there. All right, so really quick recap from today, as we did have a couple of more than a couple things take off and rip in our favor. Really nice rip today on Lulu. Oh my God, this thing topped out at 184.50. Not all the way, right? But almost all the way. We are sitting right up against this floor. I'm not mad at it. Totally aware of the potential retest. Maybe that gives you guys a potential injury if we retest bounce and reclaim this box. Right now, it looks like it's already trying to do exactly that, and it'll be this 30-minute square here, or 182.65 that we'll be looking to kind of push through or push up above. Faster you fall, better chance that we reverse and see more green to the upside. And I did have somebody in the free Discord mention, yeah, somebody asked me if I was going to take profit. And the reality is with something like this, where shorter expiration contracts, I've got basically the profits, or really it's just free for me to hold it. And the chart still shows more empty space. That's where I hold my ground, and I see all the way through. And that's the difference between me and a lot of people on this app, is that when I see empty space or I still see opportunity, I'll let that trade continue moving in the right direction. So now Snow was obviously a little Jorge brainchild today. We were able to knock off a month. I think a lot of you guys were able to knock some profits off of this one. But it is something that's still obviously holding our interest. But man, what a retest, right? And with the 3 bars that we've just received to the upside, and the potential empty space underneath us, we really can't afford too much further to the downside. Anything underneath 181.94 is absolutely liable to come back down. Now, we've already retested that 178, so I'm putting it basically on the table as a if we lose this, if this, then we basically get a full retest back down. So, but the further we go down, the more probable you guys could, and I would say that as far as clean empty space is concerned, Snow is about done. This isn't very clean, and not really what I'm interested in. If you look at the higher time frame, you're still holding, and you still do have a target up at 190.60. So something to think about if you're still holding any Snow positions. All right. Let's see. Rivian propped up today, and again, I'm really focused only on the 24-hour here. The next target or green candle overhead is still that 1622. We got a good candle hold above 1494. So really, that's about it. So let's take a look at the ETFs now that most everybody is on here. If you're on TikTok, be sure to tap your screen. All right, so again, I said this today, and ETFs were not it, right? We did get trapped in range. We weren't able to break those. And then one thing that you can note is that we did go higher. And it does seem like as we are moving into the end of the day, some retests are probably highly likely. Um, Obviously, lower time frame, we do have some empty space up above us, but we're sitting right on that floor with nothing but a retest underneath us at 491.80. So it does seem like something that is worth watching as we near the end of the day. And, again, whether or not you want to put that into tomorrow, it's not happening yet, right? We're still on top of that floor of 693.28, but it does look good. Yes, it was very, very choppy today on those. But it does go to show ETFs might not be running, ETFs might not be moving the way that we wanted them to, but individual equities were. A lot of stocks that you guys swung, again, looking at the gains page from today, I mean, again, most of these names were You know, HD right there. That's just ridiculous. I mean, I don't even know. I still don't know how he did that, but um yeah, so that was AI, which didn't catch that one, but nice job on that one. Yeah. Snow 370%, so obviously some delicious croissants. All right.
Oui, oui.
Oui, oui. All right. Yeah, that would be a pretty big drop. All right. Now, one thing that you can and do notice is that IWM and most of these ETFs fell really quickly, right? We saw the big bar, the drop. And so I'm curious, right? If we just, I mean, is that a new low to the box? Yes, it's not a full retest, like we were talking about, down into that 265.32. So watch as we get into the end of the day, because this is something where if you kind of get rid of everything, um, maybe drop down to the 5, I don't really see anything separating you from reversing. I can tell you that when we do reclaim this box floor and when we do move up, not only did this play just get, possibly a little bit sweeter, but there still is empty space up there. All right. Last thing here on IWM. This was one of the areas that we were meant to protect, right? Meant to hold above. If not, we have a retest down at that 260, that is 265.25. And if you notice, that is exactly the same level that I just mentioned to the downside on the lower time frame. So that is a huge gravitational pull that is underneath us right now. So QNCX on the move. If it's on the move, I don't want it. Yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Yeah, you're close to target at 51 cents. Good luck. Good morning. Damn. If you're on TikTok, if you don't mind tapping your screen, it's all free game. All right. So, if you have anything you would like for me to take a look at, today was as far as Lulu, Snow, all of these trades worked out. A lot of them still have Snow, not so much, but Lulu definitely still has some money on the table. I was watching Kava. I think a lot of you guys are watching Kava here today, and it's going for that retest. It's doing it rather quickly, so don't. This might not be over with. Anything underneath that box of $69, and we do have a hefty retest underneath us. So, da, da, da. Yeah, AMD is getting bent over too as well. Which if you look at it here to here, there's a target underneath you at 212.14 if you're aiming on that one to the downside. So, can you look at Apple? Yeah, so this one's trapped. And today I mentioned 275.25 was that imbalance in between the two boxes or the old cost basis that separates you from retesting 276.50 and maybe getting a punch over 677.63. However, right, that was not done. And we're still being held down. And we're still really, we're putting the price's face in the mat, where we're sitting right here at 273.40. So it is still something that if you can open up in range, you can stay in range and you can engulf this candle tomorrow and call that a box. But if we do end up losing this floor, I do think you're looking at a 269.38 retest down in here, 270 if you're on the 2-hour time frame. So this one, see, a setup like this one, I don't move. A setup like this one could take your money, right? And unless you're reacting and you're able to use the triggers above and below, because this is exactly the kind of setup that I avoid, is being shoved or stuck in between two ranges. Now it's good to watch because you have a signal above and you have a signal below. You have empty space down here and you've got empty space up there. So you literally don't have to be right. You don't have to have, your bias doesn't have to be right. You don't need to, who gives a fuck about all that shit? All you have to do is react accordingly. I hate that. What's your biased? How about react accordingly? Dork. All right. I'm not saying biases are bad, but you know, pick it based off of what the chart says where it's triggering. All right, moving on. What do we got here? Yeah, actually, thank you for reminding me. So, really quickly, I did mention that I was going to go over this Lulu setup, and I'm going to make this really, really quickly, or real quick. So, starting on the 24-hour, we filled up all of this empty space. We've slammed into our structure or box and hit cost basis. From there, this is child's play. Because when price reverses, reclaims the floor, we're promised cost basis. We got cost basis. Then we bounced off the floor again yesterday and closed flat up against cost basis. What do you want me to fucking do? Right? What was seller's job? Everybody has a job to do in the stock market. Seller's job was to push price down, and they had the posse to do it. Posse was weak, right? Because they did push this back. They didn't get anything further than a drop slightly below the floor and then closing straight up in between or right up against that 50% mark. Now, the first target outside of it is obviously the imbalance. This was exactly what we hit today. And so for a weekly expiration, all we needed to do is see price open up on top of cost basis or push over orb. And we got that really, really strong push today to the upside and hit that imbalance. There still is, again, more to the upside potentially in the 190 area, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Otter. What's up? Yeah, Party B. All right, let's see here. So NCLH to the upside. And that's just a textbook punchback, you know, and especially on a stock like Lulu that gets real whippy. I mean, when it moves and picks its direction well. So it's not a box, it's a range, right? And that's okay. However, this sucks, right? Because this overhead right here, that's what you need to cross. That's 24.32. Now, this is a good candle in that direction, but you've already pulled back, which is giving you the time to potentially react to said. I'm not going to lie to you. It does look good. It does look good and I'm not saying that in the sense of empty space because it definitely doesn't have that, but you could look for a 25-25 target. It does have empty space way up here. So if you're looking at this from like a weekly breakout, right, it's definitely something to watch. There's a lot of money to potentially be made on this thing. And what you're really looking for in the first signal on this would be a punchback weekly time frame over that lower time frame 25 and 26.64. That would lead you to your second trigger. Look at that. Perfectly stacked 29.50, and that's where you could look for a long dated position. And that right there is a longer expiration trade right off the bat. You know, you're already looking a couple months out. NQ. Right now I'm unmoved, right? Because until NQ is below 25,228, this floor right here, you need to lose the same floor. So this is still a candidate to actually rip ass, right? And how it does it is, or how it would do it is by retesting down here and then popping back up, punching through today's volume. You spent all day building this damn box, and this isn't paper mache. This shit will bust. And so we would be looking for a big move up into this pocket of empty space here to the upside. So otherwise, you know, again, a lot of the time, man, this is where it's like, you know, until we see something lost, it's, you know, obviously hard to go short, but yeah, This is a good time to be waiting for that. And this, yeah, I don't get wrapped into this bullshit. When it bounces, that might be a great opportunity. But when it starts punching back through this box, I mean, you could be futures, obviously QQQ. So where would I put my box? I've been watching this data for like 3 days. You talking about my live streams? So you would put your box, and I'll tighten that up a little bit. You base it off of points of contact, candle closes and wicks combined. Candle close, wick, candle closes, wick. All of these are sitting off at the same price mark, and I would do the same thing with the floor, right? Candle close typically on the bottom of that box will be that defining floor. So I'll tell you where you should put your box. Listen here, you calm down, all right? Talk about that later. All right, cool. Now let's see. Not in it, but MOS is breaking out. It is. It is. So again, nothing straight on this one, but here's what I would be looking at. 4 hour, it's very obvious that 30.35 is where you need to go. The wick here at 30.75, that sets you free. You have a couple keys to unlock to get to that $33 target, but that is a great target, and good job picking it. Kroger, what do you want to do to this borax? Because it's cooked. It is cooked, unless you're trying to cook it. You know, I'm not saying immediately because you've already bounced off of all of this volume. I would actually expect for this one to go back up and retest. Typically, again, the straight lines, I actually see a little channel here at work. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know what? If that's cheap enough, you know, you could look for a retest up into the 69.88s. It's not a bad little. Yeah, thank you guys for posting your charts. By the way, let's take a look at your chart really quick. Peter, I've repositioned. I made money on that short, but I did get stopped out basically flat on those last runners, last part of that position. And so I ended up playing it to the upside, and that was cool. But yeah. So like we mentioned, you know, I see I like to keep those ranges separate, right? Because they are separate. I see a lot of you guys in here doing that, and it's, you know, it's not going to be the nail in the coffin. But be specific, right? Is this its own range? It is. So it's separate. It's something that you would have to, or you're having to reclaim. Same way that this right here would be its own box. So. All right, let's see here. Lulu. Oh no, that says Kava. I'm seeing things. Yo, welcome to the chat, President Zelensky. Holy shit, guys. President Zelensky is in the Discord. Let's go.
A quick question for you. Do you have, or do you know if there's a way to where you can, like, I can set 2 presets on the rectangles for trading view, so that way I could have like one white and one blue or whatever for a box versus a range? Or is that not
yeah,
possible?
I don't think that's possible. Trust me, I already been through that struggle as well.
That'd be so sick, man. Just so
That
it'd
would be
so
sick.
obvious to know.
Yeah. If we join the Discord, you will look at our charts. Yes. Yes, I will look at your charts. My job is to help you learn and grow. So that's a part of it. Isn't that right, Golf Man? Golf Man?
Yes, very correct.
It's cold in here for some reason, bruh. All right.
Although he won't really be mean.
Real quick, USPS, bro. That one hit structure, hit the imbalance, and died. It's done. at least for now. You know, what you would need to see. I mean, hold on, I'm going too a little fast. You do have this structure underneath you here, and you did fall fast, and that is really going to be your only, I think, saving grace is that you did fall quickly, which will allow for price to reverse. But the reality is that you would need to be above $40 again off that bounce. It has ER. Oh, it has earnings. Yes, the Qs have been testing that box all day. I could say 44.68. I mean, holy shit. Okay, first of all, how does it move? I mean, that's pretty big. The following day you dump. Nah. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck. Okay. Shit. Slap a saddle on me and let's ride, dude. Hold on. Not on me. On the market. Never mind. All right, hold on. How much of those contracts? That'll determine whether I put any risk on this one. I'm feeling this one might be able to get into this box.
44s are $1.50.
Oh. I would probably play a little farther out of the money. I mean, I'm envisioning what looks to be the average earnings move, you know, and without changing the chart. I mean, that's cakewalk for fucking USPS or UPST. Again, I wouldn't risk your old mom and dad's farm on it because you can never guarantee anything that isn't perfectly set up going into earnings. Those are very expensive, and yeah, you can't compromise on those. I don't mind risking some money because I made a lot today, so I don't mind putting maybe like 500, 400 bucks into something like that. 460 bucks into something like that. Was up to funding related trades last year. Was on. What are we saying? I don't in funding related trades last year. Okay, very cool. Very cool. All right. That's still blowing my mind, dude. Ugh. That's crazy. I need to see them fills. That's crazy. All right. If you guys have anything else you want me to take a look at, keep dropping your requests. Let's take a look at target. So far, I mean, obviously today we're seeing a bit of a pullback, but it's not like it didn't tap and try to go and grab onto that floor. Yeah, so it means it's not time yet, right? We're probably going to need to build. Now, the good thing about this is that it is falling quickly, from what I can tell. It does have empty space underneath it, so that's something that we do need to keep in mind. Let's look at the longer dated trend here. Okay, that's not really important to me. That's holding you up. So if you lose 113, we're looking for a pullback into the 111.70s, and with that gap down there, we could be in for it. This actually, you're just a few clicks away from being able to say that this is a pretty significant pullback play on target. I mean, it does have a lot of holes in the chart, and this small box leading you all the way down to 105. So obviously, great stop loss. One of the stop losses I see immediately because, yes, there is a retest of 115 that is likely if you are unable to lose this floor that's underneath you. But you would want to stay right there. Clearly, price is not wanting to get back up above that floor, so it's a great stop loss. Is Bitcoin technical analysis possible? Yeah. Dude, yes. If anybody tells you otherwise, They're just telling you that they don't know how to chart. It's just that simple. Some people are technical analysts and some people are just assholes. But yes, I mean, we we've been holding underneath 72, which is the top of this structure over here to your left. If you want to get back up and out, you have to go clear that $72 mark. And if you see price open up above 72K, you will see price retrace back up into the 76s. It's, yeah. Do I trade off the 5-minute charts? Nah, not like wholly. I mean, uh, I trade off of higher time frame first. So, all right. Let's see here. What chart do we got here? Would you consider hood? Oh, I wouldn't. 1 hour punch back up. So that's not a box, right? That's a range. Now what you're building right here, that's a box. I can see that. Now that, right? You got to mark that out. That's a floor above you, and that is the next leg up. That is what rock climbers, right? Buyers need to grab hold of in order to continue moving higher to go fill that gap. So no, but also simultaneously in another way, yes. So let's look. Yeah, Issa, I have a YouTube channel, man. Obviously, you know, for those of you guys who are planning on taking the Potterbox workshop, that's on the first, inside of the main Discord, or excuse me, inside of the Potterbox workshop Discord. We'll be going over that stuff as well. Sorry, 1 hour time frame, but my YouTube channel is chock full of stuff for you. So yeah, like I said, not a punchback. If anything, you already moved through that structure, went up, tested a new high, 88.50, and failed. Now on this hourly, I need to encapsulate that whole. So yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. This one looks like it's kind of faltering a little bit. And it's got it. You got to hold yourself up here. You definitely need to hold yourself up. Yeah. I don't like how you tested just that tiniest box right here at 88 and you fell. Can you Potterbox the VIX? I'd rather slide down a cheese grater, man.
Hey Potter, just
Yeah,
so
what's
you
up?
know, Grape Swallow, that's crazy. He put it in the main chat. I guess you can do what I said.
Oh, wait,
Where you
really?
have a box and a range. It just, all it does is instead of you having 2 options for rectangles, every time you click on it, it'll have a drop down. And he has one that says empty space imbalance or Potter box.
Ooh, very cool. Yeah, I didn't even know that. Look at that. I don't do technical analysis on the tools. I didn't even know that was there. That's amazing. Somebody clipped the saddle sound? How about no? Yeah, his name is Grape Swallow, which I just don't. I mean, we gave you that name. His name is Grape. I think I did that. All right, anyway. We talk about playing a strangle on VIX, absurd but funny. It is absurd, yeah, to strangle the VIX. Dude, let's see who strangles who first. That's actually funny. That's top tier comedy. Guys, I gotta be honest with you. I left my Zins upstairs. And this analysis will not be going any further until I get my nicotine. I'll be right back.
No.
Yes, he did. All right. The Qs are doing it. I mean, that's the same old people, the same way that old people do it in old folks' homes. Real slow, dude. Look at that thing. I can't even watch. Yeah, you are looking for a break of that wick to go and retest down underneath you at 611. If that suits your fancy, faster it happens, the more likely that we gap up. Right. 12 milligrams of Zins. Straight to the dome. All right. Yeah, keep an eye on the cues here as we move into the end of the day. Let's keep moving through these. Just because it's moving doesn't mean you have to take it. Some moves are not right for you, right? I don't like playing down in an up market until we've lost something. And I don't really consider pulling back from a rejection at cost basis as totally losing something. This is what needs to be lost. And then ultimately, it's this box that would make me feel bearish again. That box. Everybody look at it on the cues. There. Bearish. That's where that's where I would like take another 590, 585 put and look for a major short.
Oh, change that chart so I can copy your bearish.
I wouldn't copy that. That's trash, dude. That was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. I should just drew a bear.
Should have just tagged the bear. Now that's better.
I don't think so. That actually looks like a demented Teletubby. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just.
Before you did the face on there, it was
It's like Five
perfect.
Nights at Freddy's or whatever it is.
No, that was 5 nights of hell. All right, let's see here. What do we got next?
Same
We've
thing.
got Cipher for you. For you. That is interesting for sure. Does have empty space to the upside on the 30-minute here. It is retested that box. It is still struggling to break that one. You are bouncing. I mean, this one looks like a patience game here. It looks just literally looks like a patience game on the 24-hour. Yeah, I mean, there is multiple. This is one catalyst away from tipping all of these things over the edge. 1921 seems like a huge break, and I would be looking for this target right off the bat, which is $22. That doesn't look bad at all. I'm trying to, guys, there's so many requests coming in. I'm trying to go as quick as I can without compromising on the fucking analysis. Oh, no. 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 You're not getting me. Not again. So this is weak, right? I mean, at least, this is not how we want to behave when we're moving in through empty space, because every single, time you hit a roadblock like this, it just kind of serves as a, again, litmus test for volume. I guess nothing has been lost. You are still above this wick. And if we correlate that with the lower time frame, yeah. So right now you want to hold 112, at most 111. Otherwise, you do have a 111.30 retest down below, and you want that to happen quick if you are looking back up. NKTR. Did somebody call this? See, that one, in my opinion, the only way that this one keeps ripping, you do have the floor. So you could say the next target is 59 or basically 59.50. But in order for you to see some extraordinary new high, that has to be punched through. And that could serve, if you fail, I don't know why or where this is coming from, but it would be underneath $52 that you could probably short that mother back down. Let's see here. I mean, it is still fine. If you're watching Abbott, I mean, it's still in trend. It's still holding it fine. I mean, this does look like it's current control, so you could utilize this if needed, but that's about all I see. SNPS. Damn, it's hot as balls in here. Do I have my fan on reverse? I certainly do. All right, let's see here. Man, the market's really starting to make me think that we just see, I mean, there's a lot of stocks that have just gone up to their floors and retested, and that's exactly what Synopsys has done. And with that rejection and pullback underneath yesterday's high, yeah, you are looking probably for a pullback. Yes, it does look like this one is going to be pulling back sometime soon. I wouldn't even look at that as a factor because it's not real. 430 and 426.40. The Qs are testing previous lows. Right now, yes, they're going to be testing 611.44 is what I'm looking for. I do have a small bounce right here at 612.19. But if you see how much overhead pressure there is and you're short right now, if you have any 611s or 612s, I mean, it's looking good. It's the end of the day, though. Let's see here. Let's see how we're falling. I'll help. Okay, you've lost your floor, and this is what you're moving into. So you need a candle pushing underneath 612. That right there will move really, really quickly to 610. So this is where you would likely bounce. Yeah, look how weak these candles are. They're not going to let you have that easy. Yeah, but it's moving like fucking pond water.
So up or down tomorrow?
Oh my God. Man, dude, listen though, I got to get something off my chest, man. And I'm subject to fucking bad opinions too. But do you guys remember what we talked about? I mean, I don't really have, I'm not to brag, but it's these sort of moments where I'm like, all right, my gut's telling me something. And I'm seeing, what did I say, right? When I remember we took this short, it dropped underneath, we fell all the way down, and then that big fat gap up. And it was like, there are particular levels that we will switch the bias. Over here, over 610, we know that we're going to retest that green candle of 617. And that is where, listen, hear my cries. That is where we have fucking built and held all the way across. So this whole area, is it a retest? Is my biggest question here. And then I move to the lower time frame, and again, I'm reminded of my rules. We have to lose something. So while I could speculate on something short holding down 613, it would still be underneath this 30-minute and 1 hour box below us. That would be the signal short. But it is crossing my mind, and it is something that I'm thinking about right now as I'm looking at the contracts, because I'm like, yes, there's a golden opportunity to the upside. And listen, golden opportunities to the upside can be saved for a decade. I've seen empty space I remember General Electric, before they changed names, was same thing, empty space from like 2008. So it doesn't mean we have to go up and test it, but it is something that I think, obviously I want to share with you guys. You guys can take that into account. How I act on this, I'm still trying to make a decision here. But it is probably something where, again, you got to have a couple weeks on it. And that's why I'm, trying to make a good decision here, not an impulsive one. Is the workshop beginner friendly? Yeah. You look tired? I always look like this. It's just how I was made. All right. APT, SPNS. Nah. Do I blaze? Not as much anymore. Night time
Oh,
I
yeah.
got the Pinjamins, but I don't do any flower anymore. I quit. Yeah.
Proud of you, bro.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I said I wanted to get that done. All right. Net earnings. Oh shit. That one does move on earnings, right? Yeah, we talked about that one. Decent moves. Big moves right there. Yeah, I'm working on it. All right, so earnings. Oh my God. It looks so. It does look like it. One bad move and Net's dead. Net's dead, and it's dead to 132. That is the only logical price target directly underneath us. And to the upside, yes, there is empty space. No, you haven't reclaimed the floor, but yes, you are up against it. So the only overhead target would tactically be these wicks, which would be around the 215 area. Candle close 211. And that's really all I can offer on that setup. That's very interesting. I mean, obviously the trajectory is up and it's saving itself, but man, that's 132s. Yeah. 4 trades, 300. Yeah, dude. I mean, look at the Discord, man. Absolutely bonkers. $132s or 35 cents. Fuck. In Espanol, Porfirio. Furio. I
Uno
know.
de 32.
Yeah, what do you say?
How much are they? Water?
Ha. How much are what? The 35? 35 cents.
35 centavos.
Ah, yeah. All swings, mostly. Yeah. Lulu and Snow. Swings, yeah. All right. Oh, shit. I want to take that. Watch out for that. 87.66. But otherwise, I mean, that is a pretty aggressive candle down on the floor. 890.27, and then I mean you got nothing but net. So I mean it does look good. I need to set an alert on that one. Just curious, why did I stop the flower? Because I felt like it was stopping me. It wasn't a break anymore. It was a crutch. It wasn't relaxing anymore. It was, for some people they use it to relax, and that's what I did. and then it wasn't anymore. I was using it to deal with stress, and that's not good. But we're human, and it happens, and we learn, and we fucking adjust, hopefully. It's funny how the source of your, oftentimes, what we do to ease the suffering of life ends up being what makes our life suffer sometimes when we put too much weight on it. That can happen with anything: food, alcohol, rizzing up the huzz. All right, so I mean, yeah, that one's interesting. I don't like that empty space above. I kind of wish it would pop up, retest, and then drive down. But how tall am I? I'm 6'2". No T in deal. Quiero ganar. What? I want to win. I don't
There you go,
understand
bro.
you.
Nice.
Edison Rodriguez. No español. Only poquito. Sorry. All right, let's see here. Net, AMSC. I'll be bilingual soon. All right, just give me a little bit longer. Nah, you can't. Come on. In this environment, I might have to take that one off the top. I don't know if I trust it. I'm not going to sleep on it. It does look good. I do want it over the top. If you've already taken it and you've got a good like $30 stop loss or maybe $29 stop loss, I can't hate on that setup, but yeah. I can understand you.
Did I miss you doing CrowdStrike?
CrowdStrike, don't think so. Andas
Oh, okay. No worries.
perdiendo. You are losing. Oh, I can't speak Spanish now. Now he's roasting me. See how quick that changed? I couldn't speak Spanish, so he said I'm losing. Somebody get this guy. All right. Yep, keep dropping your requests here. It does look good, Philo. I mean, it does look good. I'll be watching that one tomorrow with you. A-Lab earnings. If that can bounce and make it over 198, that doesn't look great, but you could see 226. You have a lot of empties. I don't know how I feel about that one. How does it move on earnings? Nothing crazy. That one moved really, really well. That didn't move at all. That didn't move at all. That moved really, really well. So I mean, yeah, I guess in terms of opportunity, it is slim, but you could look at that cost basis of 215 as a target. Downside, this one would have to engulf all of that price down to 146, and then you could see a reversal, but I don't really like that setup. Man, Junior, somebody who speaks Spanish, man, get this man on TikTok. What is he yapping about, dude?
Let me see. Let me go on TikTok.
He just flipped the script on me. Now he's
Hold on, bro. Let me check.
now he's coming out with the chancla.
Don't worry. I'm gonna get the Cinto, bro. I'll get the
Oh,
Cinto from. I got you.
holy shit. Yo, Hog with the big whip back. Yo, that actually looks surprisingly pretty good. I know it's a longer term thing. Yeah, so definitely goes on extended runs, especially after earnings. It does have empty space on it. It did pop up today and reach that overhead. If it can get over 2150, I would look for a play up to 2330. That doesn't look bad. Hog on the weekly. That candle is pretty good. So on the 24-hour, that level I gave you is actually in like right slap dead center. Oh, now he says he wants to be your student. How come I have to follow again? If you got kicked from the Discord, it's just because you idle. If you weren't there in 30 days or haven't used the Discord, then you can rejoin. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just to keep the scammers off. If you join my Discord, you're gonna probably get DMs from a bunch of knuckleheads. So. Yo, I love Papa Potter. What the fuck? That was a hilarious message. All right, let's see. What do we got? Meta broke its bear channel. I could sign off on that one. Obviously not yet, right? Because we are pulled back and we have yeah, so you're inside of this box. For me, you know, this is where I move down into a lower time frame. I go and find my whatever stopped me right here. That's clearly what stopped you. So 678, 69, and a punchback over 681. These are literally free triggers. Like that is where you would that is where I would look to take that one higher. It also looks like you do have a bit of a channel here. So it definitely could be a candidate for a reversal, right? Off of this empty space underneath you around 666. Yeah, we vibe trades. I turned off all like yearly and stuff like that. I turned off all subscriptions. Everything's been canceled. So if your yearly is about to be up, you're not getting a renewal unless you do it yourself. I'm done with the fucking refunds and shit. It costs me more money than it accepts, so I'd rather just kill that in the butt. I don't need people to if they want to be here, then they'll resubscribe. I'm not trying to get people hooked on a subscription and then have to deal with it aftermath. So, all right, QNCX. That sounds like it's gonna make me angry. That's whew, I'm enraged. Yeah, I said the floor. I mentioned. Oh shit! I said this like 5 seconds ago, and it already made it there. Yeah. So you do have the floor. I would say 73 is your next target if you can see continuation to the upside. No, I do not have lifetime anymore, man. Up to 440. To be loving each other no matter what happens. Proud.
Hey Potter, if I do lifetime oil changes on your Porsche GTS or GT3, would you give me a lifetime for free?
If you do what? Did you just say to me? That sounded like some science or
Oil
something.
changes on your Porsche.
Oil changes on my Porsche. I changed my own oil. I don't have soft hands, brother. Last time I changed my oil, bro. I'm so glad nobody was watching. Fucking embarrassing, dude. It was rough.
You take DoorDash gift cards for membership, lifetime membership.
That's tempting. That's tempting. But no.
No, that's about the only thing that would probably get the change.
So look over the 422.80. You've got a floor of 436.08. So it doesn't look bad. Obviously running up against the market, you've reclaimed floors. Yeah. I mean, that looks like a good play actually. I mean, it's 3 bars today. So I mean, if you saw a little bit of, but no, I mean, it did. Yeah. What about the carne asada? What about it? Sign me up, dude.
Do you take Bitcoin for a lifetime?
Bitcoin. I've never accepted a payment in crypto. I think I did one time. I didn't like it. Felt wrong.
2 G's might be worth 20 soon.
Maybe actually.
Bro, I
Or-
have
or-
a first edition Charizard signed by Ash Ketchum.
That might get you in there. That's crazy.
My son just looked over me like, what?
This guy, Alex Trade, says you're not a real trailer.
Mr. Ash Ketchum.
Tell him to come in here, bro. I would have so much fun if Alex came in here with his beady little fucking eyes. Please.
Alex who?
That
Oh, it would
Alex.
be a
Bro, I gotta see this guy. What is this fucking tag?
Dude,
Alex-
he
Alex-
begged me. He begged me for help. Begged me for help.
I know,
Wanted to
I
link
know.
up.
Fuck this guy.
Fucking so funny. It's crazy how they flip, dude. When I'm like, oh, you're selling shit and you don't know what you're doing. Now I'm not gonna be cool with you. Like you wanted me to just like lie for you, bro? No.
If you mention Potter, you'll get banned.
Oh yeah, he gets hot.
Oh yeah, if
just
you
gotta
say
keep
Potter Box,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna kick you out.
yeah, you could if you
Other-
go in there, if you
other
go in
shit,
there,
though.
yeah, if you go in there and you're like, yo, I made 300% today, off of this guy named Potter Stocks strategy, he'll fucking lose it, dude.
Where
will
is he live?
freak out.
TikTok.
But listen, don't
volunteer.
get him too mad. Remember who has to deal with that? His kids. Sorry, that's sorry.
Yep. You're shooting it all live.
Yeah, but anyway, I have no respect for that. Sorry, guys. I know that might be a little bit rough around the edges, but zero respect for deadbeat daddies. All right, so for 2750, this one still doesn't look amazing, but it is holding its floor, and I think right now you're looking at 43150 as the floor to cover. Take the high road. Defending little kids is the highest road. Always.
I don't know. a
I
lot
wish
of
our
people do that
country
nowadays.
would pick that up. Did you happen to do the podcast with Put Brothers? I have not. No, we haven't done that yet. I got sick right on the week that I was gonna talk to him about it, so he said, "Quit calling me daddy." BYD is gonna flip Tesla. That'd be cool. Oh, that's not it. They delisted that, didn't they? Yeah, they delisted it. A fast jellyfish. AIG. Earnings play? Does this move on earnings?
See you tomorrow, bro.
Are you taking off, dude? See you, man.
Yeah, I'm going take my daughter to go have a little Valentine.
Aw, nice, man. Enjoy, dude.
Enjoy, brother.
That's the
See you later,
stuff that
man.
matters, dude. That's awesome.
So I can yell at her for the ETFs.
Oh
not
my
moving
God. Oh, give her a break, man. I'm so cooked I can't get any place to work. How long have you been following, no? No, I don't see an earnings play on this one at all. I do not. CVS. It's 335. All right, CVS. Ooh. Gross. Following for like 3 weeks, brother. Give yourself some time, man. Learn the strategy. Feel confident in your ability to. When you look at a chart and you get a good feeling because that's a good setup, you know. Okay. And that means that you're confident in where you're placing your structure. You know where it is. That doesn't come easy. There is no, again, that usually sends people packing, looking for a shortcut. And then they end up right back here. So just suck it up and take the next couple of weeks. You don't need to put real money on the table, especially if you've only been following me for a few. You catch a trade with us, obviously with understanding, and now you know how to fish. All right. This one looks deathly close to reversing all the way back down to 325.50. You already got a retest in there. See, that I don't like, right? When you look to your left, folks, and you haven't pulled back or lost anything, but that is a huge overhead. And so finding the floor, 316, so you are trapped in between the two areas. If you can get up outside of this, you could look for the highs. If you don't, then I would be looking at a retracement to 316. That's a setup I would never trade, right? I'm going to try and point that out. And I don't mean to, you said this as earnings. Okay, with earnings, then this could definitely try to go for a punch back into the new highs. Or you could be looking at a 307 target underneath you. That one doesn't look as clear. Thank you guys for tapping your screen if you're on TikTok. Love it. NVIDIA short, 24-hour time frame. There's a speculative nature to that. Now, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, it is today's low. It is 188.20, and that's where you would look for your first target to the downside, which would be a 186.95 and 185.50 target directly underneath you. I could see if you are looking longer or shorter than that, you need this to fail. So. Get out with profit. Well, it's important not listen, getting out of a trade, and I think this person might be in another Discord because they were like, you know, and you know, no offense, but they were like, someone was like, did you get out of Lulu? Right? And they were like, well, if you saw $500 on the ground, wouldn't you pick it up? And, you know, again, no offense. That, to me, the whole green is green thing is bullshit. That is the reason why people get it in their heads and make excuses for their reasons for getting out too early. And the only reason that they feel they got out too early is because the candle keeps going, or they feel like they got to. It's all based on what's happening right now, not based off of like what's above or what's below. So when I take a trade, it either works or it doesn't. And I've said this over and over and over again. The difference between me and everybody else is I actually do trade the chart. I don't trade, oh, I'm a scalper. I'm a day trader. If its setup looks good, it could be on the fucking hourly, right? Based out of the 24-hour, but focused morely on the hourly. And I might take that day trade because it's clear as shit and it's my strategy. So profit is profit. That saying, or green is green, is a great way to make excuses for you getting scared. Oh, well, profit is profit. No, dumbass. Sorry. But are you here to trade the stock market or to trade your little feelings and how you feel? We're not doing what we feel, right? We're doing why did you get into that trade? Did you feel? Did you love it? No. You saw a clear setup. You get into that setup and you trade the setup, not the chart or excuse me, not the contracts. The contracts percentage, right? The reason that we have these high percentages is because we are trading the chart. We are focused on those price targets. Now, do I trim? Do I reduce my risk? Do I have areas that I know that I'm going to make that trade free? Yes. But if I see more opportunity, I stick to it. It's okay to trim. It's absolutely okay to reduce your risk. If you hit 100% and you take off the original investment, who the fuck am I? I can never say bad, right? But if you say, oh, I got out, profit is profit, back up. All right. You're building a bad habit and you're doing it too soon. And it's not, and then people make excuses and say, well, I don't want to be greedy. No. What? You don't want to be greedy. This isn't Thanksgiving dinner.
It just kind of says that they don't know what's going on the chart.
Exactly. That's what they are saying. Greed that is another way of saying, I don't know where this is going. So if I just say I'm not being greedy or don't be greedy, then I can justify my fear, right? That's where I look at it. And it's like, okay, well, if I And the thing is like you'll have a trade the next time where maybe it only goes to the imbalance like Kroger and it comes right back and you get stopped out. And then in your mind, you're like, well, I should have taken. No, you repeat that again. You do it again because this time when it does go Lulu or it does go Snow, right? It works. It's all the way. And if again, the management part comes from being able to stop out, right? On Kroger, I had to stop out. Sometimes we just go for a retest and we bounce, but those trades that like Celsius, guys, do you know how many people were, and I'm not roasting anybody at all, do you know how many people were still in Celsius when we hit our target? It was like 2 people. Everybody had already taken profit. And if you didn't pick the right expiration, right, if there's some variable like that, I can't, I'm not sweating your, whatever, but you could do better, right? You could take a trade, stop paying attention to the money, because that's when your mind starts reeling. You're like, but then when I go over this at night and I'm like, yep, Celsius has reclaimed the floor. Yep, this candle was red, but it didn't lose anything. So we just need to bounce off of it tomorrow. Okay, we do, right? Oh, we got stopped at the imbalance and now we're consolidating. Has it lost anything? No, it hasn't. Is your expiration still good? Yes. And that takes emotional maturity. And that emotional maturity comes from wisdom, right? Because we're able to look at the chart, having experience, wisdom, it all goes together. More experience you get on the chart, the more that you can say these things like what is above and what is below. What have we lost? Nothing. Why am I getting out of this trade when we fell really quickly to the floor that we reclaimed and immediately bounced, right? And that's why people who rush so quickly through this system are really, really making it harder on themselves, because it's like, take your time, man. This is worth it. You didn't, I mean, who cares when you started? Who cares what year it is? If the stock market doesn't exist, if that's what you're really worried about, you got bigger fish to fry if that happens. So, all right, let's keep going. It's 3:43.
So Potter, I got out of Lulu once it hit like 183.50 today.
Was that your
only
plan?
Because I traded Lulu before and seen it drop later in the day. Is
Mhm.
that something to go? I mean, I'm looking at the chart, but I said I didn't see much more up for today. It's weird.
I think again, if you had trimmed or reduced your risk on the way up, sure. If you don't have the expiration to deal with this, which if I'm not mistaken, you had weeklies, correct?
Yes, Friday.
Yes. Well, then, yeah, hitting a major imbalance after a massive rip from 175 to the imbalance, that is room for take profit. Now, again, if you still had, right, a position that was worth holding, and you said when you got into this trade, I'm taking it to 186, and you stopped out today, that's where I would put the hammer down, right? Because what's happening right now
Okay,
on
good.
Lulu
Yeah.
is perfectly natural. It's only human natural.
Well, I see more upside, but like I'm waiting for it to get to a point where I can re-enter. Just put
And
something
that's
small.
fine. Yeah, if that's how you're navigating it. My thing is that if you say I'm taking this from point A to point B and you don't have a good logical reason to get out, right? If you're using those excuses like profit is profit and stuff like that, yeah, I would never accept that from myself. These are standards that I
Right.
also so yeah.
So I think you kind of taught me this, not to let another trade I lost on make me
Yes.
react
I was just
to
going to say
another.
that.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, so past experiences, I mean, if you look at like what TTD did today, right? That one, I mean, a lot of our past experiences, I know some of you guys were like, absolutely fucking not. But, with weekly calls up to the imbalance, which is again from in between here and here, that would have made a perfect target. So, all right, let's see here. Let's keep it moving, guys. AMAT, we did that one right, I believe. Yeah, we did. Okay, NVO on your watch list with all this empty space up above. Yeah, actually, I mean, I wouldn't mind putting this on the watch list. I do know that fluid price action will occur above 53.40 and take you to 56 So that would be something that if you had shorter expiration contracts from here to here, maybe 2 weeks out, you wouldn't really negotiate, right? You would just be taking profit when it hits there. Now it is red, it is up against the floor, and it does have empty space down below it. So with this thing's trajectory being up, and a lot of the times with a wide expansion in price, there's a channel that's yet to be built. And that's what I suspect if this is going to pull back, it will look like. So probably something like that. And that'll give you that 5340. Having committed to
Hey,
learning
Connor.
the system, I have doubled my account value over the last month. Fuck yeah. What's up?
I was just looking at NVO, and looking at its history. It kind of likes to build a nice box actually on the 24-hour. Something like this, for like a new trader like me, um, you would kind of expect more consolidation before going
Yes.
up. Obviously, triggers are triggers, right? If it goes above our box that we created, obviously we're
Mhm.
going to take it. But
Yeah.
it also has a much higher likelihood to fill the gap with the empty
Yep.
space and create that consolidation.
Simultaneously. And I think if you look at my channel, right, on the higher time frame that I just drew on the lower, that narrates a potential box perfectly. Because we could expect what? A candle here, a candle there, a candle here, a candle there, right? And that would be the kind of build that, like you said, very good point, would be an acceptable amount of tension to get this thing up and moving. And a lot of what we're seeing right now, right, with like, say, snow, these are great opportunities, but these are still and could qualify as bull traps, right? Because what have we reclaimed? So a lot
I
of those
think that a lot of people in the Discord, or not even in the Discord, just looking at your strategy, I don't know, I'm speaking for myself, I suppose. Whenever you see the empty space, it becomes really appealing, but it is really hard to like pull yourself away from that empty space whenever you haven't had that consolidation. And
Yeah.
I've been watching, these stocks like crazy, and like you just don't get that expansion typically without the consolidation. Like you say all the time, it is the volume that you need.
It really is. It really, really is. That's why I get nervous when something launches itself off of nothing, because it means that that move isn't really sustainable. It just doesn't have anything in front of it. And one of the, I mean, that's why all of those trades that we took last year, like Celsius, right? You built an acceptable amount of sideways tension. That the craziest thing, guys, if you're watching this on TikTok and you're new here, one of the craziest things is that every stock is worth studying, right? And there's endless amounts to study. Study the ones with the most volume first. But we went back and we did this test on Tesla, right? Where we went and we basically said, okay, there seems to be an average amount of days. It's either this or it's that, right? And when I say that, I mean you either consolidate for about 9 days, right? Or if you go past those 9 days, you're actually going to end up consolidating for over a month. And we've gone and tracked this based off the weekly, right? Where you can go and measure these candlesticks all together and then look for that break candle. And we found that a lot of the times it's almost the exact same amount of days, right? Look, bam, bam. Now here, clearly we go past that. And what happens on the 24-hour time frame is you get two boxes stacked on top of one another. But each stock actually has like an average amount of runtime or sideways price action before it moves. And so, you can apply this thinking to any and every stock that we run into, like say snow, right? We could go and look at snow and really quickly with this date range tool, we could go bam, bam. And not every stock is going to be the same, but damn if that's not pretty fucking close. Damn if that's not pretty fucking close, right? And if anything, it's giving you an average amount of days. And then if you can listen, put this together with me, right? So 6 days on snow, right? If you're 4 days in and you've got 2 taps off the bottom and the top of the boxes, what do you think is happening? Right? So you can take that logic and apply it to the chart and say, well, let me find that opportunity. And this is, again, something that you can go and do yourself. Here, it's actually funny because you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, expand down, and then you pop back up to consolidate for damn near the same amount of time, just 1 day short. So something to think about. Build tension. Yes, you want consolidation. Do you guys remember Neo? Way back, we took Neo on the 24-hour out of this box. And if you go back, I would go to my YouTube channel and maybe go look back July 25th. July 3rd through the 7th, 8th. I remember talking about this one because it was like, yo, you don't get packed in like this unless you're about to rip ass. You don't get packed like sometimes when you get these wicks out here, that stirs that wiggles the equilibrium, right? And we have to kind of recenter or pull ourselves back in. That is perfect. And it's that amount of tension. And then, yes, I was looking at the fact that we had multiple catalysts stocked on top of each other, and I just couldn't help it. But we had empty space all above it, right? And if I be damned, it didn't do exactly what we wanted it to. And that was that was like over, I think some people had 2,000%. That was huge. But it's like, yeah, I get a little bit nervous when we're just bouncing and just going to go grab a floor, because when you go to try to grab that floor, guess what happens? QQQ, SPY, and IWM today. I don't like 24-hour floors, right? I don't like fighting for them intraday because it's just like bait. It's like, ooh, you want it? You want it? No. I like opening up on floors. I like closing on floors. I like price to settle, except that level. So, Vacay, what are you doing? What's up, Vacay? Sorry, I was losing my stuff. On QNCX. I mean, you hit 64. Yeah, I would say 72 would be if you get it. This is not I'm not trying to act like I'm an expert on this shit. Please don't, I don't trade therapeutics. I actually have a bad reputation with it. I get, mechanically speaking, they are very aggravating for me to trade. All right. I need to make a few calls here before the end of the day. So QQQ.
Calls or puts?
Hold on, bud. I think.
I'm just.
You know what? Both of them. I got a funny feeling. What is my funny feeling? What am I, a fucking clown?
That the Qs are going to hit at 611 and shoot the hell up.
Maybe. But then also the other part of me is like, damn, boy, you just slammed into this fat ass volume and you tried all day to get up there, and then now you're peeling back as we speak. And what that does to price is settle it back down underneath the same thing that held you down. And so we're stuck in between the two of them.
So the funny thing is, Tesla was riding up and now it's coming back down a little bit as Qs are coming down.
Yeah. I mean, it's here. Like, that's... yeah, if you've taken that short, if you have tomorrow's contracts, that looks good. I'm looking at, like, something a little bit more drastic, like 10 days out. $588, $588, $587. I'm gonna put some risk on the table, man. I'm putting a little bit.
It's gonna fill that gap.
Yeah, so I think this is what I'm looking at right now. And honestly, as we're moving into the end of the day, I'm narrating this with you guys. As we're moving into the end of the day, we're moving pretty quickly to the downside, which typically always sets up for a reversal back up unless you can actually lose something. And that is something that is true, because the same floor that you came up and reclaimed here is the same one you're losing now. Now this one can catch you, right? And that's what we'd be expecting tomorrow. So if there is upside, it's going, and this is, listen, if right now you're so fucking thirsty to take a trade and there is not one, and I'm having to do all of this narrating and all of this, well, this has to happen if this needs to happen, like, that probably means you could just take it tomorrow. Just throwing that out there. I'm speculating on 588s for February 20th. But we're falling really, really quickly here back to that floor. So again, stepping back out in any bear market, right? In any bear market, in any major pullback, I mean, it's these type of things, right? These 2-day runners, these big gap ups, like those are the ones that convince you that everything is back to normal. And it's like, look, right here, folks, even if we don't necessarily go lower, you just ran up in the same fashion. Look, there's empty space above you. Do you see this? But you still end up retesting the very same area that you fell and then going all the way back down. And I can't help but think to myself, fuck. Okay, so you're on the floor now. It is 328. So if you want to take this on a break, that would probably be your smartest move. And I'll leave it at that. IWM. I got to get this bear out of me, dude. I have a homeless bear living inside of me right now. Is anybody a surgeon? Fuck, dude. IWM is making me a little bearish too, bro. You gap up, you're above the high, the rules don't change, you tap the floor, and now you're pushing back down. Now you absolutely have to lose 265, but boy, if this isn't the start of a potential catalyst down. And with all that, oh my God, oh my God, I just lost another pair of shoes. My toes just burst through the roof of my shoes just now. You know what? I'm gonna risk it. You don't have to do this with me, of course. I'm doing this on my own. 7 days out. 261. If that breaks, would be the first logical target to the downside. 30 seconds. You can also take this a little bit later, like after hours. All right.
I want to see this thing shoot up now.
Damn. Why? Man, it's
I
just being a
got rid of my
contrarian.
611, and I'm shooting up.
I did take
Okay,
my,
I'll
I just took IWM, but I did take QQQ coming out of the box. So I tomorrow I got a good expiration. So tomorrow I'm not worried about this one at all. I'll stop out if we end up flipping.
Yeah.
Hey Potter, what's your how did you determine your expiration on IWM? Like how did you pick like 7 days?
The empty space up in front of us, but what we have to lose is not going to come easy. So looking at this, right, we've got 1, 2, 1 we've already lost, but 1 cost basis here at 264.50, and then the empty space. So I need days in front of me in order for me to potentially be able to handle this. So
Did you do 7 or 10? I thought you said 10
and what?
days.
I did hold on 1 second. I got the
20th.
12th, and then I got 17th.
Just wondering. I was just wondering.
All right. So
That's
before
right,
I
buddy.
move
Remember
on,
the cues, but
and anybody follows me, if you were, because this is again, I'm being real with you guys. Just I do stuff too, right? We just hit the floor right now. So if anybody was to hedge, right, it would be possibly off of this floor. Anticipating the worst case scenario, which would be a absolute, like he's saying, a absolute rip ass. Don't get yourself into a mess. This is still something that you could possibly more than likely react to over or tomorrow morning. So, all right, moving on. Tomorrow. All right, 8:30, we got ADP hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, and unemployment rate all coming in tomorrow morning. So I'll be live tomorrow morning. So so logic says if we gap down, then absolute rip ass. So I'm prepared, right? I'm gonna react to this accordingly. But if we do punch back, the results of that I think will be chilling, bone chilling. Yeah, it's too perfect. Ugh. Yep. Actually, I'm gonna sell. I might have to reduce that put size. I've saved money to start stuff like this. Where do I start to learn this stuff, and how did you learn? By hating everybody that had courses and Lambos and was on the internet trying to sell somebody else's strategy, locking myself in my back bedroom for 12 hours a day and staring at candlesticks and charts until something fucking popped off the screen to me after $80,000 of losses when I needed it the most. And then I built this, the PBS strategy. And now I teach other people how to use it. Go to my YouTube channel or be in class on March 1st, which is a, yes, beginner friendly to advanced friendly class that we'll be holding on March 1st, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope everybody is there. March 1st, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Tell your boss. Listen, if your boss is giving you a hard time, I'll give him a free pass. All right, that's a Hail Mary. Just say, hey, yo, he said you could watch. The whole company could watch. A little bit of game, you know what I'm saying? I did just reduce the size on my QQQ puts. You have about 10 minutes to do this. That bounce is sustainable. So I got to reduce my risk. I was hoping we would kind of butter through it and close closer to here at 610, but futures traders, if you are trading futures, let me give you guys a little bit of setup here real quick. Check this out. If we can punch through this and we're over 25.3, you've got this sweet juicy pocket right here that'll more than likely give you a retest up there. Jay Dunn made a video saying his supercar got vandalized. Looks like he's gonna cry. Oh man. I should lead the investigation astray and say that I did it. God damn, I'm a troll. Hold on. They deserve it. All right. Yeah, earnings. What do we got tonight? It's Tuesday night. We got Hood. Let's take a look at Hood. Oh my God. Oh, wee wee. It's not that big. Look at the 5 minute. That's still a lot of empty space. Yo, that's kind of what I'm expecting on everything, though. All right, let's see. Hood. Let's take a look at A-Lab. Let's all admit to it and see how the investigation goes. That's my guy right there. I like that. That one's curious because you did just bounce right off of 172. You can kind of see that across the board right here. So that would, I mean, you do have a potential to go flip, but all right, what else do we go? Lift. Yeah, let's take a look at lift. Oof. Should bounce here momentarily. If not, you'll flush down into cost basis. Yeah, Hood is dumping. I hate forward on earnings. It looks heavy, however. Upstart? Yeah, what is that doing? Ooh, shot.
Did you take Upstart?
Who's we? There may or may not have been some purchases made, I'm sure, inside of the community. Hello, Ellie. How was your day? Good? What's that? Ah, cat? Ah, he bit your nose. What did I tell you about taking your nose to the cat? I told you not to have your nose on when the cat is here, okay? Make sure you take it off and put it upstairs. Did you want some pastries that I got earlier that you didn't get to try? Coco? You almost just took my computer down. Ow, ow, ow. Thank you. Yeah, that's the strawberry croissant. The queen feeling. Isn't that good? That's like called milk bread. It's really good. Hood? Is Hood still falling? What's up, guys? Is it? Yeah, that one was just, I mean, you might as well, it's a good chance you might stay in that range, though. What's the QQQ? So I have listen, and I might be wrong, okay? I might be wrong, but I have this, oh, okay, baby. Well, food came out of nowhere. So a while ago, when I took a short on the Qs, I said when it bounced and recovered its floor, I said the highest probability is that we retest 610 and 617. And then at that point, 6-7. Yes, Ellie, 6-7. And that's where we could potentially see a rejection, right? You're welcome, sweetheart. Okay. All right. I love you. So, you know, I look at this and I say, well, damn, we just wicked that. And then we just closed basically sitting right there. So, and then, you know, again, to be realistic, because I'm not short-sighted, I know that the rejection that where we came off of is separated by empty space. And boy, if I tell you what, that is where we will rip ass. I know this, and I will not be holding anything short if that floor on the 15-minute and hourly, this is my signal, right? That right there is my signal north. So I right now I'm in a speculative position because I'm speculating. Nothing has triggered. If this does start triggering this trade to the downside, I'll put 6 bands into this shit and take it down into the 60250s, trim a quarter off and eat the gap. But at that time is not confirmed. I'm going to speculate because I can afford it. Some of you cannot. And should probably just be selling that shit. But a lot of people, north, look at the gap. Listen, that gap, I just showed people though, that we will leave, right? We will leave empty space untouched, and we'll see just as nasty rejections if the levels that separate you from that do not get reclaimed. And that's one of the biggest things that I'm looking at right now. And I'm good. You know, again, I picked the right expiration. But if we look back in the past, and actually this is a good point too here. Look, guys, hold on. Look. First green candle to your left. 1, 2, 3. We close and break down underneath the top of the box that we held. Pulled back 3 days, consecutive dumpage, low of 557. And look where you retest. The first green candle to your left. Can I bring the PS5 down? Hey, room. I want you to pick up your room. You have to. If you want the PS5, you got to pick up the room and the bed needs to be made. Just remember how we did it super fast together with the points? Just try to do that. I'll be done in a second. You do not need me. You can do it on your own. That's your apartment. All right. So anyway, that being said, sorry, now you guys are getting into parent time right now. So with that being said, I mean, can price retrace back up to the same opportunistic level that it did before pulling all the way back and making a new low or making a low? Yes. And so I'm looking at the cues, right, in the same speculative fashion. Did we just pop back up and retest those levels? Yes. Did we pull back and get close to losing 610? We're sitting there. So. Nah, I would never talk to my wife like that. Brother John did, but he is still scared. Brother John, we look to you for wisdom inside of this Discord, for courage. You cannot be scared. Psst, toothless? I will eat you. Stop it. I know, you guys are saying amazing parented, but I just threatened to eat my cat, so. Yin and yang, right? Oh, you guys are screenshotting Alex? Alex trade gets pegged? Oh my God, look at all of these fucking indicators. A+ Trader University? Oh my God, Alex trades, bro. I need to send this shit to your parents, man. I mean, it's intense, man. Good one. Yo, screenshot that to Alex and put it in his Discord. I want to take a picture with him together, me and him. You know what he looks like? He looks just like this. Dude, look at that. Yo, screenshot that, Ivy. Put it in the Discord. You know what? Maybe Alex Trades isn't so bad. He just really loves Radiohead. Are you sure you've heard you look like Brandon Fraser? I've heard I look like Brendan Fraser. I've heard a lot. I had somebody yesterday tell me that I look just like Shaquille O'Neal. It was pretty cool.
On that note, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you later, dude. Yeah, Kevin Hart.
Cloudflare is going nuts, by the way. Yeah,
Cloudflare
just jumped up crazy.
Ooh, oh, that one actually looked a little. That one actually looked kind of good. That one, yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 2:05. I did not grab that one, I don't think. Sometimes I hope that like I have short-term memory loss and forget.
Yeah, they were very expensive to the upside.
That's right.
Downside, it came down and then went back up. It came down. Yeah, it's crazy now.
It's kind of nice though, even though it's so expensive, you can still like see the strategy in action. The bounce off the floor. Actually, if you're being hyper specific, because Yeah, right off the floor. Yeah, it says A+ Trader University. That's branded. Yo, Alex! Yes! Oh, I got the best assistants in the world, dude. Look at that. Yo, change the bins to the scams. You guys are awesome. The runs. Yeah, the runs. Ivan, yo, what the fuck is that, dude? All right. Can I? Oh yeah. So last one that I'm going to cover here. If you guys are watching or have entered or are looking at car longer expirations, it does look good. You still have entries over 6750. We have the overhead first target of 6875, and then we can be on our way. But it still looks good.
Hey, on ANF,
Yeah.
what was your trigger to take that trade?
So
Is that and let me guess first would
Mhm.
be an hourly close under. All right, never mind. I give up.
That's okay, man. So you already have an hourly candle close under, right? Technically, you're just dealing with the wicks. So really, it's the low. That is the only thing separating you from that, which is 90-50, which you're going to bounce. You're going to, right? You just have to have the extra. That's what I mean when I say there's certain levels and numbers that just they're going to bounce, and so you have to have the right expiration, and you have to anticipate that. Do you think that if you have this week's contract and you hit 90 that you're not going to lose half of your gains? Yes, but if you have 2 weeks out, right, that initial bounce isn't going to be calculated immediately. You might have a chance to get out. So yeah.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome, bro.
Contracts are a little.
They're a little fishy. They're a little fishy, dude.
Yeah, spreads are a little shitty. Yeah.
Yeah, that one you have to pick it at the right time. I've made ANF is actually to date, I think, is the highest percentage that I've ever made at 40,000%. And you can, I mean, when I say that you can fuck with the bid and the ask in your favor when it's moving in your direction, you definitely can, especially if you have a size. I sold on ANF going back. I remember this because I literally thought to myself, I was like, dude, whoever just bought this contract, like they didn't even have a moment to really even comprehend what just happened to them. And this is, again, going back to the strategy, simple concept, right? Check this out. This is, if anybody is paying attention right now on TikTok, and this is why when people bring me setups that don't look like this or they don't have a punchback into empty space, I'm like, why are we doing this? Right? You trade my strategy, but you look for something else. Doesn't make sense. But look, structure, range, right? And that's only range. So it's either A over the range or B over the actual candle wick. And that's where we see 4 consecutive days. Contracts that were sitting at the 168s were like 4 cents. And overnight, and I mean, literally, you gap up, tap cost basis, and it does not come back. So whoever bought my contract, my last runners, cooked. First of all, whoever bought a contract that was up 40,000%, I mean, maybe you needed to learn that lesson. All right. But this is a great example of how price moves through empty space. You shit, even here, look, even right here. Peep this. That's a punchback. Punchback, empty space. Yeah, you rip all the way. All of that. Can I see APP for ER? That sounds like a medical condition. I need 300 cc's of APP in the ER. Stat. That right there is simple. Muy simple. ¿Cómo se dice simplicity? Yeah, right there. And then look at the floor underneath you, which is here. So yeah, I would be looking for a 484 break and a target of 517. And of course, with the empty space directly up above you, APP has a chance to keep it moving. But I will say this, that's a fat, juicy boy right there. And it's going to take some juice to recover. Your assorted wall behind you is such a flex. Oh, thanks, man. I actually am extremely hypercritical of how it's set up and feel like it looks like a big wall of ADHD. So thank you. I appreciate that. The runs. Send that, if anybody's in Alex's free Discord, put that in there. There you go, Alex. Somebody, Ivy, will you screenshot this so I can put on my TikTok as my profile picture? Yeah, I can't hold it anymore. One more? Here, let me do my hitchhiker thumbs. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Do I collect moths? Like in my pocket, or what do you mean? Like kind of pins in the wall? Yeah, net is moving. Sorry, do you think Spy will shoot up tomorrow? It's wicked. If it punches back up. Yeah, this is a really hard place to trade, Carla. Really, really, really hard place to trade. Yeah, put that picture in his comments. But yeah, I mean, this is a place where, I mean, if we can punch this box tomorrow, Carla, you would probably be anticipating 697.50. So yeah, maybe IWM, right? IWM. So for anybody in here who wants to trade ETFs, you tell me, right? With something that has this still, which, I mean, yes, most of it is filled up, but it's still an opportunity. And there is empty space even all the way up to 270. Or, right, as the other variable here, you have a punch down through this that would give you that. So there's actually a lot of opportunity here. IWM is, man, it's the juiciest one. I love IWM. It's a juice box, baby. All right. Discord. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to answer some questions here on TikTok for a little bit. 8:30 tomorrow morning, or 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Eiley. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate you both. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Gotta show love to the assistants. They are the best assistants on planet Earth. Lyft and Hood are cooked after earnings. Yeah. For a small account, what would you trade? Let me walk you through a list of small account things. I'll try to refresh my memory, but the first one that always comes, I don't know why I retyped that in. IWM is probably by far one of the best, if not the best, small account ETF. It fucking slaps. And you don't need a lot of money to trade it. So if you guys are on TikTok, by the way, tap your screen. This is a free small account game here. But just to give you an example, all right, of the cost, because this is something that we are always focused on. It doesn't matter what we're trading. It's always the focus is we want to have low risk and high reward trades. So I'm looking for IWM here. We had a couple people trading it this week. There it is. Of course, we don't see how much he spent on it. Let's see if we can find that up here. So this is, and I mean, this isn't the greatest example because we definitely get more than 118%. And I believe she held these, but that was $9 to $20, which, yeah, that's not really, I mean, it is exciting, I'm sure, for somebody, but let's see. Yeah, there's some IWM runners. That's what I wanted to show you. So a lot of the times, and I mean a lot of the times, that right there, $14 to $128. That's 814%. And this stock does give those type of moves. 1,114. Yeah, I saw that. Tomorrow we got empty space up above too, so IWM would be one of the first ones that I would look at. Now, a lot of stocks will actually just drain the value of their options. And so one thing that you can do to build a small account watch list is look for things that are highly traded volume-wise, but have stopped moving. Lulu could be added to the list of stocks that you guys look at for small accounts because it does lose the value in its contracts really, really quickly, but it also recovers and moves very quickly coming out of areas of consolidation. You can see this for yourself. And it also has a pretty standard average of consolidation runtime, right? You can, either it's going to go for somewhere around 12 bars, which you can kind of copy and paste back, or you're going to split that time in half, kind of similar to how you did here. And this was a trade that I took. Oh, my bad. Lulu right there. So Lulu is one that you could add to your watch list. IWM is obviously on that watch list. I'm again trying to find some of these ones. Kava is something that one's dead in the water at the moment. Snow is now, again, I want to be specific, right? And this is something to take into account. I have purchased options on Tesla for $25 and had it go on a 3-day run and sold them for $700. So what our goal is. So let me explain something. Let me actually, you know what? Rather than giving you guys a watch list that'll get you stuck, right? Trying to just look for opportunity there. Let me give you guys a tip, right? On what you need to look for to find cheap contracts. Because think about it this way. There is a way to decrease the value of contracts. By the way, if you guys are on here, tap your screen, it's free. But there is a way to decrease the value, right, of contracts. And the way that we do that is through max pain. Is everybody following me here? Does anybody not know what max pain is? Does anybody need me to explain what max pain is? Put a thumbs up in the chat if you don't know what max pain is. It is a movie. Yes, it is. All right. So I'm about to All right. So let me teach you guys about max pain. Max pain is literally kind of what it sounds like, where you're inflicting the most amount of losses or the most amount of loss of value on contracts. Thank you for the galaxy. You guys don't have to do that. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, though. So what we're doing by moving sideways, right? Think about it this way and pay attention to this box. If we're looking at Lulu, right? And I say, well, I want to take a call or I'm looking to go long above 216.50 and I want to take it into the 230s, whatever, right? And you do that and it doesn't break out and it keeps wicking that top but loses its floor. During this time, you're just going to be losing value on your contract. But so are the 217 strike, 218 strike, 220 strike, the 221 strike, all the fucking way up. We're losing. And every time price shoots up and then gets pulled back in, max pain. Don't believe me? What happened to your contracts if you traded the Qs today? What happened to your contracts? Because this can happen on a lower time frame when you shoot up and then immediately reverse. Not only are you losing the volume, you're convincing people like this shit is not going to work and people drop out, right? You're decreasing all of the value of all the calls above you. Simultaneously, if you are staying sideways, you're doing the same thing to sellers, to people who are buying puts. You wick it down, bounce it off the floor, and all of a sudden as price, just like you would have done when you were just starting out, you would have chased that price would have bounced, you would have panicked, you would have got out. And what this does is it pulls people out, right? It gets people out of these contracts. So while you go sideways, the cost of the contracts on both sides get cheaper. They just get cheaper. And if you were somebody who just played tension, and I've known somebody who did this, wasn't very fun, but it did work. But he would just look for contracts or a stock that should not go past this amount of time of consolidation, or it goes past 3 waves, meaning 3 taps on both sides of the floor and the ceiling. And he would buy a straddle, because the reality is one of those, right, is going to die. The other side is going to not only increase in value, but it's going to increase in volume. So imagine this. You wait for these areas. So let me actually give you a real life example of a trade that we took on Celsius, right? Longer expiration contracts, closer to 25 days out. All throughout this area here, we're losing value, right? Now, it's not a super tight area of consolidation, so we still had some value moving up, but it is these 2 rejections that killed the volume and drove people away. And part of the reason that your contract is worth what it is because other people buy it. The more people buy it, just like any asset out there, the higher the price or the worth of that contract. So my concept, right, not only am I trading the Potter box, but my concept is I'm waiting for the contracts to get cheaper, because I know that that expansion is going to come. And it's the contraction that leads it to it. But think about this way, right? When you first started trading and you got into a trade and it didn't go anywhere, right? And you're just losing value. Those are the trades that get you lose interest. And it's funny because that actually happens where volume goes elsewhere. But if that's the moment that you're zooming in and you're saying, okay, hold on here, tension is going to break. And I can go back and I can verifiably claim that with tension, right, with expansion comes, or with contraction comes expansion, right? And this is not new, right? I'm not the inventor of this concept. This is as simple as breathing air. The market runs this way. You build up buyers, you build up volume, and you expand. So this is one of the things I teach people, because I watch people's P&L, people who are my students, and I see their P&L. The market goes up, up, up. Their P&L goes up, 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 up. And then guess what? The market goes sideways and their P&L goes down, because they don't know how to step back and say, okay, I can go back and look at the Qs right now and tell you that it's an average of 4 days. An average of 3 to 4 days, you're going to see the Qs move out of their expansion zones before they start going sideways. So when I trade the ETFs or I trade the Qs, 2 or 3 days will pass, and then I move on. Because again, these stocks don't give a shit about you. You shouldn't give a shit about them. You take their money and you leave, because those opportunities can be found elsewhere. While the Qs chopped today, my Lulu went up to 300+%, right? Snow opened up and gave me that 200%. So I move elsewhere. If I can't get what I want out of the contraction, or it's still waiting to break, I set my alerts and I wait. So all that to be said, and again, you can go back and you can look what I'm talking about on the Qs. An average to 3 to 4 days of expansion, no matter how big. 1, 2, 3, 4 sideways, right? Right here, you get 3 days sideways. Here, you get 1, 2, 3, 4th day, and then I would consider a pullback like that that's not going up, right? You're not going up. You are rebuilding. I mean, this is something that 1, 2, 3, 4, you stop, 1, 2, red, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that was the one that I just did. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. Over here, gap up, 1, 2, 3, stop. I could keep going, right? And this is just average runtime. So you can correlate with this with your analysis and say, well, we've ripped for 3 days up to this major 24-hour floor. I should probably back the fuck off. So do I trade futures as well? Not very often. I just had somebody send me their 1099. They've been trading for just a year now, and they've pulled about 35,000 or 30,000, or maybe it was 25K. But so anyway, let me re-explain this concept to you guys one more time. So I look for stocks, right? My watch list is typically built up of stocks that have gone sideways, that are not moving. And when they are not moving, that means nobody's buying their contracts, and I'll say it this way, and it sounds a little cocky. They don't know what I know, right? Most retail, most volume sitting on those options don't know, right, when the right time to buy is. They are chasing, just like everybody else, just like you did, just like I did when we first started. We're chasing candles. We don't know why we're doing it. We don't know where we're taking it, but we're just doing it. And so when my contracts, listen, when we're in a box and those contracts have died, those contracts are dead, and then they see a big green candle and I already have that contract and I bought it for cheap, guess what is increasing the value of my contract? And guess why we are able to pull off percentages that look like this consistently. And I've been doing this for years. And it's wild because, again, I don't know anybody else who's doing it. So, I mean, 1,400%. These are things that don't happen to most traders even once. And I have them happen to me multiple times a week, 200 times, or, 200, 300%, pretty consistently. And the fact of the matter is if you look at the risk to reward, not only am I not having to risk a lot of money, I'm maximizing my cash. I'm maximizing my cash. $5 to $75. They had 9 contracts. That's pretty juicy. I teach people. I've been teaching the same setup, I don't switch it up because it still works and nobody believes me. That's actually the best part, is that nobody believes me. But my members keep posting these gains. I keep posting these gains. 715%. That's a weird percent. It's flat 320%. If I was only showing you one day, then I would say, that's a little fishy, brother. But I mean, I could scroll back a year and you would see the same thing for me. So this concept of just being patient, so many people show up to trade every single day, and little do they know that you could make more in one day or in 2 days of swing trading / buying, intraday and swinging it overnight, than a day trader would sitting there struggling to try to find an opportunity and all of the hard, dude, this to me is the definition of freedom. Straight up, because people's definition of freedom is sitting in front of their fucking, think about it. How many people scroll away from this live 20 times? And I'm sitting here explaining stuff, right? I'm not trading. I'm done. I had a great day. My day was done actually around 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And I played Fallout. Me and my wife hung out. We had Mexican food. I went for a walk, a dog. I'm about to go play video games with the kids and take them outside. That feels like freedom to me. Not sitting in front of my computer and not to mention, day traders' life expectancy is typically 50 to 60 years old because they make their heart fucking burst because it's an unreasonable amount of stress that you have to put yourself through. And not to mention, when you're a day trader on Wall Street, you have the liquidity to move candles, to push people out of positions. You don't have that power. And that's what gives day traders at that level their edge is, they have the juice. So anyway, that being said, patience and understanding what you're looking for focusing on areas of consolidation, and I'll walk you guys through a bunch of setups that we've taken over the last, year. Nike was the same setup. You guys, I'll walk you guys through this of all of my swings, because they're all going to look the same to you. Empty space, consolidation. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 3 comes first, 2 off the top. Earnings is the catalyst. I take that trade, right? Schwab. Same setup, same trade, same concept. Box. Floor gets recovered. Cost basis gets broken. Empty space above. Trade. And again, I'm buying. Oh, my bad. I am explaining nothing. All right. So anyway, that's Schwab, right? Box, floor, candle closes on the floor that it tried so hard to keep you from closing on. That's just simple selling, right? If you're a seller and you're pushing price down and price shoots past your average and you close your position, you're buying those shares back, which means you're pushing price over or pushing price up, which is also pushing other people out of their positions, which is why you get such strong movements off of my punchbacks, because the volume is centralized at the 50% mark of this box. All right, guys, I get a little heated when I'm talking about this shit. I'm passionate about it. I did create it. So, but that whipsaw, that whip down is just, I mean, you could literally story mode walk yourself through what you would do in that position. If you had a stronghold average at 74.14 and you drove price down, and you want to make sure that the algorithms sitting on the floor here do not get reclaimed, because that turns on the computers and that makes things buy, then you know when that price does get recovered that you need to get out. When you get out, price goes up, and when price goes up, you push your friends out, and when your friends get out, it starts a snowball effect, and then other people see those green candles, buyers do, they rush in, and you stand no chance. I am showing it. So, and then let's look at Nike, right? So Nike, same concept. That was the one I was just showing you. Empty space over to my left, area of consolidation, contracts get cheap, earnings comes up. That's my catalyst. I don't care if there's an earnings trade. A lot of people, again, who don't know what I know, will say earnings is a gamble. In some chart setups, I have no idea, nor will I try to attempt. But on Schwab and Nike, both of those were and did have that catalyst. AMD a couple of weeks ago. Where did it? Yeah, here. And this was just actually off of a floor bounce, but the same concept. Was this here? Yeah, it was. I actually took this trade. That and Meta gave me the same signals. We had talked about AMD traveling down, and I, again, don't typically use trend lines. I don't ever use trend lines. I use parallel channels. Trend lines are stupid, and they will cause you to fuck yourself up, because you're just going to be drawing what your brain wants to see rather than what you need to do. But this was actually a stock. Wasn't so much consolidation as it was that the calls had lost all of their value. When you're falling down, if you see an opportunity to buy off of a major 24-hour floor, and the way that you fall will often dictate how you reverse. So I took the same concept, 50% punchback of that box, and then I ended up swinging this because we didn't lose anything, and we had maintained and held that 207. We gapped up above cost basis, and this unleashes all of that selling squeeze volume, and it ended up being a huge play. Meta was almost identical. The exact same play was taken on this one, and it was just a box coming out of its top and then moving up into its empty space as well. So, but these are lower time frame trades. No idea what you're saying with the jargon. So let's take a step back here, so we're not getting ahead of ourselves. So let's look. So again, going back, this was another trade that I took. Celsius, simple concept. 1, 2, 3. Empty space directly in front of you. You spent from November 11th to December consolidating. The contracts had become pretty cheap, and so we took this off of a lower time frame break over 45.50. If you don't understand my jargon, write it down, because I will explain it, or ask me. So rather than sit in a state of confusion, ask. All right, so let me let's see here. Shit, That's why so I'll show you a couple of plays that I'm looking at now. HD. I'm looking at HD to go for a break over 393.22. And what do you guys see over here? No structure. A pocket of empty space. That's where I want to take it, 402.50. What needs to happen? The same area that held me back here that sellers controlled, we have been consolidated, has been wicked multiple times. And if sellers cannot do their job, if they cannot, and right now they're doing a damn good job at keeping it from going anywhere, but they're not doing a good job of passing the baton, which is something I teach in my class, where sellers, just like buyers, want to push price into the control of someone else, right? So they can take over. So if I was a seller, right, and I shorted HD, in order to see more lows, I would need to push price into or underneath the top of this structure over here at 6362. Because, and if that does not happen, right, if that baton is not passed and you fell quickly to get there, there's a really large chance that you're going to reverse. How do I know when to enter? I look for 24-hour candle closes outside of whatever is holding you back. Whatever, when you look at a 24-hour chart, right? So let me give you guys another example. This was a 2,000% trade that I took last year. So let's look at this, right? This was a really, actually, I'll show you two examples. So NEO, right? Box, these contracts were $5 and $4, folks. $4 and $5. Yeah, I'll bring up Spotify. Spotify was another good one that we took. Or I know a lot of you guys took one as well. But this one had gone past my 3 waves. Again, that's a magic number you're going to be keeping in the back of your mind. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is typically when tension is at its highest, and that box or that consolidation is highest likely, is more than likely going to break. Do I trade Forex? Absolutely not. I do not trade FX markets. So that being said, right, this strategy does work for FX. It works for crypto. It works for whatever. If it's a market, it works. I have people post 700,000% or 700 and 1,000% crypto gains on their own, because we definitely don't signal it. $400 away from blowing my account. What do you think I should do? I think you should split that into like 50 bucks. I think you should take that money. You're not ready for it. Whatever you've been doing right now is not working. And so you need to ask yourself, do you know when you look at a chart exactly what a good setup looks like? And has that, if you do, has that worked out in the past? If the answer is no, then you need to find something else. And a lot of other creators will try to guilt trip you into not switching strategies. Like, oh, bro, man, you got to stick with something. Shut your mouth. That's how you just sell people the same shit if it doesn't work. And most people are just pushing shit that somebody else created and not themselves. I'm not. I created this system. But you can also learn it for free on my YouTube channel. But if whatever you're doing is not working, then you need to sit down. And if you really want to do this, if you really want to actually make money in the stock market, you have to have a strategy. If you want to start a business, you have to have a strategy. Even if that strategy needs refinement when you're faced with pressure or when things aren't necessarily going your way. But your strategy is fucking amazing, dude. Different setups, different strategies sometimes. I will say I stick to one strategy and one strat because I've never had another strategy. I mean, again, I created this strategy, but I don't know anybody who can, and it's not a competition. It's not possible, but who makes these type of percentages, we see. I mean, I'm teaching everybody in my Discord. I hold nothing back. If you want to know the answer to it, I'll tell you it. Because the goal is, and this was my goal years ago, is that if I was going to build a Discord, I wanted it to be everybody is doing the same thing. We're a hive mind. Because if you have an entire group, hundreds of people who are all proficient at one strategy that returns low risk, high reward, or just period into story, gives you clear entries and exits, and shows you where price will expand rapidly, you got a pretty fucking powerful thing on your hand. And so our Discord, I mean, again, I go on vacation, no Toothless. I go on vacation, or I even got sick the last, a couple weeks ago, And I mean, the percentages don't change. People still replicate. I mean, look at this, 704%. You don't have to put a lot of money down. You can stay low risk. And if you're managing your risk well enough, you could lose 60% of your trades. Do you do call outs? No. Signals do not work. I have never met a person. The only people that I've ever met that have made it with signals is somebody signaled something and it just randomly ripped ass and they made a lot of money, but they typically come back and they have no idea what they're doing and they lose all their money. I have never met anybody who has had sustained success without having a real comprehension of their strategy. Now, inside of my Discord, am I telling people what I like, what I am looking for, what strikes I am focused on? Yes, but every time I explain my trade, I am teaching you why. And I mean every single time. So, and I don't think that there's any other way to do this. Everything else out there is not, you're a number, you're a ticket number. Because your success is not their responsibility. And this has been one of the hardest things I've ever done, is try to teach, a lot. Like, even for myself, I had to learn how to teach people and how to teach different kinds of people. Different people learn different ways. So I'll explain something one way and end up explaining it two other ways using a metaphor about sailing in the ocean. Potter, since I joined TikTok in September, your TikTok, my highest percentage is 350%. How do I break out? Higher time frame. What were the last couple plays that I took? Snow and Lulu were the last two big plays that I took profit on those today. Is the Discord only for the members? Yes. Listen, I can't let everybody in my Discord. I can't. Because then everything that I've built, the collective that I've built, the fact that everybody has to come in and know what my strategy is, starts to fall apart. So if you're really serious about this and you don't want to be listening to some egghead named Jay Dunn from Team Bull Trading or anywhere else, or Alex Trades, or any of these other dudes who are fucking just trying to take advantage of you, I don't care. I'll say it to their face. They're just trying to take advantage of you. You're in the revolving door system. So anyway, but that being said, let's get back to what I was talking about on Neo. So Max Payne, just to finish this lesson up, and if you're looking for my Discord, or you're looking for the workshop that I'm holding on March 1st, that is on my website. If you can't afford my Discord, don't do it. Do not do it. Go to my YouTube channel. The shit is for free. It should not put a stress on your wallet at all. And if anything, a lot of people make the money watching me and trading with me before they join, which I would highly recommend. All right. I would highly recommend. 350, right, is the top. 340 is the bottom. At this point, the cost of your contracts on both sides of this trade, going out a month even, has already disintegrated, because you've been watching since June all the way to the end of July, or the beginning of July, a stock that is unmoving. I'm sorry, guys. I keep fucking forgetting to bring that back over. I'm going. All right, so back to Neo, right? My entry, is everybody listening? My entry is a candle close up against or outside. Now, on a setup like this, you might have to go to a lower time frame and set up an entry off of these wicks. It's totally acceptable. That's 360. Yeah, J Dunn soldiers will contact you and all they want is to get another subscriber. Yeah. I took my 5% gain today, Alex Trade style. That's funny. That's good. So I am looking for a candle close outside of that structure. And if it happens intraday, a lot of the times I'll take that trade intraday. So that's crazy. That's crazy. All right. Now, somebody asked me about snow, and last thing, I'm moving too fast here. With Neo, this is a perfect example of Max Payne. When price does not move, the contracts get really, really, really cheap. And that is when you can look to take that break of tension. And if your watch list is filled with things that are in consolidation with empty space on the other side, that's it. If we are new, should we wait a little to join the Discord? If you get the workshop, then you are welcome to join, because that way, as you're learning, you can ask me questions. My main focus is to teach, and I had a big debacle in the Discord a while back because some members that were older and they, profitable, were getting pissy because people were talking and asking questions in the middle of the trading day. Well, I got ADHD and I'm great, at least with multitasking, if it's all wrapped up into one computer screen, which this is. And so I don't care. Me talking while I'm trading is actually helpful to me. But I want people to ask questions. And so I ended up, one of them, and we ended up booting him out of the Discord just because he was talking shit about me in text messages to other people, because I told him that this Discord is I'm focused on teaching people how to become independent traders. That is my pure and only focus, because I believe that there is no shortcuts in the market. Eventually, it will always catch up with you, and you're always going to end up back at ground zero, because if you don't have a strategy, they have a way to short you. I guess is another way to put it. So, how do you even start? So are you at that point where you feel really intimidated? You're not really sure where to start. It feels like too much information. Great. That's a great place to be. You just need to listen. You're already started. Welcome. Your journey just begun. You're literally listening to me right now. You're literally listening right now, and you're not. Listen, for the next 2 weeks, there's going to be a lot of confusion. Stick to what you know. Ask questions. Write your questions down. Toothless, stop licking my finger, brother. Listen, this is why this doesn't work out, because you be doing weird shit while I'm streaming. You want to explain this shit to the chat, bro? Huh? You need to chill out, man. Yeah, stop biting. All right, but anyway, if you are new, you can go to my YouTube channel. You can go to the educational playlist over here to the right. And I do have videos. I have the Potter's Box Workshop introduction. I have how to set up your trading view so that it looks just like mine. My chart setup. So how I build my boxes, etc., etc. Okay? But that has hours and hours. Look. Look. 53 minutes. 1 hour and 51 minutes. That's only 3 minutes long. 3 hours, 1 hour and 44 minutes, 3 hours and 11 minutes, 155, or an hour and 55 minutes, or 2 hours basically, an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2 hours, an hour, and 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. There is plenty of information. This is a PBS Q&A. Look at this dumbass. Look at his eyes. Damn, I look kind of. That guy looks like he's fucking smoking a gun. Damn, that's a big ass hand, dude. Damn, my hand looks bigger than my head. See, that's why I don't watch my own videos, dude. I get a little bit. How did you decide which strike and expiration on? You guys want to actually let me see if I can find this. Sent in a specific channel. No, what the hell is happening? Hold on, I'll show you guys. $12/30/2025. No, that wasn't it. 7/31. That's it. Hold on 1 second. Look at the cost. $2. $2 was the cost of his contract. And how did I select my strike price? By zooming out, right? 24-hour time frame. And what I did, and this is the same exact thing that I do every single time. All right, I'm going to show you. So typically, not a lot of the plays that I take are going to have, unless I have a longer expiration, which we did, don't have like immediate boxes in front of them. This one did, and I'm going to explain this a little bit of an advanced concept. Inside of this box, as you fall, you leave a gap behind. And when you fall that quickly, it is very little resistance to move through. So my concept was, well, if you've been sitting here for an eternity and trying to reclaim that floor, if price closes outside of it, it's going to punch through this box. So if this, then that. Where's my next target? The 50% mark of the next area of consolidation in front of me, that's $4. So the first shorter expiration contract, $4 strike. But this was our target, and that was $4.71 and $5 flat. So we picked the $5 strike 3 weeks out with shorter expiration contracts underneath it. Oh, fuck. Sorry. There you go. Are you on my stream right now, Jake? Are you here? Can I explain again? Sure. I'll explain it again. So when I look at a chart and I pick a target, so I'll walk you guys through this really quickly. When I pick a target, what I'm trying to do is find an expiration so that fits that target. So if I have, let's say, a box like this, and I have 2 boxes in front of me, then I'm going to add typically about a week or 2 per resistance in front of me, because I need to be prepared for the natural turbulence that both of those boxes could cause me. But I am looking to buy a target-based contract on nearly everything that I swing. This keeps my risk low, maximizes my reward, and also with the right and correct expiration allows me to hold through any turbulence. Now, there are situations like snow, folks, where snow, I swung this last night, okay? I swung this off of the break over that 173.33, and my target was the one, it was 188.17 and 190. I obviously did not get that whole enchilada, but I still have my runners. I've already taken profit. There's a 200-300% trade. A lot of other people in the Discord were able to hit this one as well, I believe, for, hold on 1 second. Yeah, that's this one right here. 370%. That cost him $60, and it was sold at 262. Huh? On what? On Fortnite? I'm not on Fortnite right now. I'm about to get off in about 2 seconds here. I mean, okay, all right, you're right. I was exaggerating. I didn't mean 2 seconds. You're right. 5 minutes. The Discord is on my website, but please don't join if you want signals. Please don't join if you're in your lazy phase. Please don't join if you don't want to do this on your own or you don't think that you're capable. You have to think that you're capable. You've got to believe that you're smarter than fucking J-Dun and you're smarter than all these other dorks out here. You really, I mean, I take screenshots of these dudes that I scroll past sometimes with their Apex fucking codes behind them and they're trading right next to their fucking mattress. Sorry, bro. I cannot listen to you if you're trading right next to your mattress. So, yeah, can I go over the Lulu trade? This is my strategy in a nutshell. So everybody pay attention. I'm going to go through this and then we're going to go ahead and cut it off. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock on YouTube. You can be there for class on March 1st. This is for new traders to beginning traders. It's the Potterbox workshop. If you do get the one that doesn't have any time I am adding a month or 2 months to it. That's it. All right. March 1st on at 5:30 p.m. 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. All right. So the reason that I took Lulu, all right, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm if you're trading by your bed, and that's fine. If you're trading by your bed, that's fine. But I'm saying if you're trying to sell me something and teach me something, I'm not one to judge, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. If you got a $20 mic, again, if you're making bread in the stock market, you can afford to upgrade your how you trade. I mean, I don't want to show you guys the PC. It's pretty sweet. Actually, Clutch Computers built it, and they are absolutely fantastic. All right, so everybody pay attention. This is the Potterbox workshop, or excuse me, Potterbox strategy in a nutshell. All right, everybody ready? All right. So again, just as we discussed a little bit earlier, we have an area of consolidation, right? Price is not moving in either direction. Above it, it has a floor and ceiling that it fell underneath, right? It lost this, dropped underneath it, retested it off this candle right here, and then got pulled back under. Froze. I'm frozen? I'll just scroll away and come back. Okay. So as a seller, and again, remember the box. Remember that price is at the 50%. Volume is at the 50% mark of the box. 50%. Okay, it took me years to figure this out. Volume profile, 50% of the box is where all of the volume is held. So as a buyer, if you don't have enough volume to reclaim this floor, right, you're going to go back and you're going to get it. I think of stocks moving up as rock climbers or as hikers, right? Or you're going up Everest. If you don't have enough supplies to get to the next base camp, you will have to go back. Just plain and simple survival right there. So price is unable to get back on that floor. We can see that sellers take advantage of this lack of volume and drive price down. The volume is concentrated at the 50% mark of this range in the most recent price action. Guys, we're always looking at the most recent price action. So this would be the most recent price action. This would not, right? This would not. This under here would, right? This floor would be the most recent price action. Price moves down and it hits cost basis, right? It is going down there, and this is a litmus test. All right. And I cannot tell you how many plays I have taken that do exactly this. And it is money sauce, my friends. This is actually one of the most famous plays that I've ever taken on Mara, where it did the exact same thing. Sellers push price down. And imagine, all right, take your shoes off and then put your seller shoes on. I'm looking for traders to join as a partner for my new company, a card game for traders. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Sounds a little fishy. I don't know how I feel about that. All right. So anyway, price moves down, right? And you have to, if you're a seller, think about it. You are a seller. You are pushing price down, passing the baton. And no, not supply and demand. Supply and demand is not a strategy. It is not a strategy. I promise you it's not. It's one of the laziest shit that people sell. Could be useful for investing. Doesn't do anything for me as far as placing targets or making 1,000% trades. So I do not use supply and demand. Everything when you look at the stock market is going to look like one, or like we're going to look at the same thing and might call it two different things. My interpretation of price is completely different. That's the reason why I had the confidence to actually name my strategy something different than what already exists. So now, that being said, the volume is at the 50% mark. You're a seller. Your job is to push it through that 50% mark to execute a punch down. That punch down, more than likely, would have driven price much further down, right? Now, if you're a seller and you push price down and close it under the first red candle to your left or the top of this box, and then the next day you buyers step up because, again, you're reaching into the most volume-filled part of that box. And it bounces because that's where the volume is. It goes and tries to touch the floor, and it fails, closes flat. The following day, and think about, guys, I want you guys to think about this because a lot of you have been in this situation. Have you ever gone short and then immediately as you go short or within a second, price hits something and completely reverses and it never comes back? Most everybody, including myself, has experienced this. You're chasing price, right? That is unclosed, unsettled. And this is typically that morning fake out. Cool. So it's happened to you. Now, what did you do, right? You get the fuck out. If you're smart, or you hold and you hurt until you just can't accept it anymore and you finally sell and you go back and you turn your computer off and you goon or whatever. You try to pretend like whatever just happened to you did not happen, right? And that's where they go. Are they watching me? Are they watching me? But here's the better question. Why did you short cost basis, right? Or why did you take a 24-hour floor and try to short it? 24-hour floors are the hardest thing and the most manipulated areas in the stock market for a day trader. For a swing trader, you're looking for candle closure outside of it, right? Or on top of it. And that's what gives you the confidence to be able to take that trade because all day price fought. And if you're taking that trade as price settles at the end of the day, that means that probably buyers have accepted that floor, no? Right? So this is one of the post-trade goons. Yeah, exactly. But that's where you can look at this, right? And say, well, sellers were unable to accomplish that first leg down. So what are they doing? They're here. Sellers are here and they want more. So you give it to them. You give it to them fast. Pause. You give it to them hard. Resume. And that's where you send that reversal back up. Now, the area to, and this is the signal, okay? This is where I want you guys to really pay attention because all three of these price points can be used as stop losses. All right. And by the way, if you're watching me right now and you are not using the 24-hour time frame with extended hours over here, right? Session, and then you'll click extended. And if you don't have the ability, you don't have the 24-hour, you go down here, add custom interval, and you'll type in hours and 24. Okay. Now, before I move on and say, well, that's all you need to know, I want you to take a look at price when I take it away. Everybody see how clean this is? See how clean and shiny the bottoms and tops are? It's beautiful. Take it away. Price is hot dog water, baby. That is the market that everybody is looking at. And that's where my tinfoil is so firmly. I mean, I've got a tinfoil on my ass. I'm so deep in this conspiracy theory. It's not even a theory anymore. It's, you know what my theory is? My theory is that for the last 100 years, they've been teaching people to look at daily price. But what do they also say? Smart money buys in after hours. Well, why the fuck am I leaving that off my chart if it's smart money? If it's big money, if it's institutional money, if it's congressional or political money, dude, what the fuck am I thinking? And not having that on my chart. And so you wonder why people are so confused when they first look at the market. Well, I'm looking at a kindergarten fucking description, right, of what the market oh shit, I just flipped my chart upside down. I'm looking at what I would consider to be a perfect picture, right? So back to the regular hours. Look at how clean that is. Everything. So now I can use that as my stop loss. Now I can use that as my trigger. And I absolutely, you're damn Skippy, can use that top as a stop loss because that is where price, if retracing, will retest. And you can gauge whether or not it's going to bounce by how fast it falls. If you are moving up and you reverse quickly in 1 5-minute candle, 9.8 times out of 10, you're going to bounce. I told you guys he knows how to count cards. Listen, I think that's why I'm so passionate about teaching somebody, because I do feel like, man, like, okay, well, it's one thing for me to claim that I think that this is all true, right? But it's another thing for me to teach people how to make these type of fucking percentages on a regular basis. And I've shown people this, and you guys don't have to pay me to fucking, if you want to join the Discord, hopefully it's because you've already made that bread. but I could scroll with my eyes closed, do a little dance, make a little love, come back, and I'm not looking. We're still scrolling. Infinite scroll time. I'm gonna keep going faster. Scroll far. So let's see if we can embarrass myself. Oh, damn. No embarrassing. 155%. 625%. That's 3,366%. So not only could you lower your risk with my system and take less anxiety into your trades, but you also have the ability to know where and when, how, the fucking candles that people dream about catching once in their life, I'm catching them on a regular basis. And I don't feel cocky saying that anymore. I'm just excited that I get it. I can teach motherfuckers for free. And if they don't pay me anything, guess what? They're not paying anybody else anything, and all those scammers lose one fucking less customer, dude. Yeah, dude, I love that shit. But anyway, I get a little bit heated. Ugh. I'm also, oh my god, dude, what the fuck? This is, I'm going back. This shit's like a movie. So, anyway, I teach every day. I do this every day. I might be in the middle of the trade and lose my fucking mind and start teaching. I did it today on Lulu. I did it today on Snow. So, oh my god, dude, what a bag. So again, if my theory didn't have some weight, you know what I mean? If I didn't have some, I'm glad that I tried it out. You know what I mean? I'm glad that I fucking pushed forward and I said, you know what? I think I have something new here. And I think it's worth fucking putting my time and energy into and dedicating my entire existence outside of being a father and a husband to trying to teach people what I'm seeing. And that even in itself is more proof that it works. Because it's not just me. I'm one variable. Now you add 1,000 variables and they're all doing the same thing. Okay, you got something. Can we join the Cord without any cost? You can watch these streams in my YouTube and be inside of the free Discord for no cost. But do not associate you joining my Discord with instant gratification. You're all of a sudden a profitable trader. You got to put in the work. I will be there to help you. I will be there to answer questions. That feeling of being intimidated, you better get over it. The market is going to be intimidating until you see what we see, until you're able to identify and know what a good strategy or a good setup is within this strategy, which is pretty much just one thing. So what time for, I always, when people say TF, I always say, what the fuck? So what the fuck do you use the most? The 4 hour? That sounded so sassy, Zachary. Tell me that shit did. He said, what the fuck? I'm sorry. That's too funny. Teach as you preach and I shall learn. Yeah. How's everything, bro? Man, I cannot be a more happy individual, bro. I'm a happy man. I'm a happy dude, man. Yeah. Do you do vertical spreads or just mostly singles? So listen, but what I was saying, do not associate joining my Discord with instant profitability. This isn't a call out group. I'm not going to tell you what to buy and sell. I'm going to tell you what I'm buying and selling. I'm going to explain myself. I'm going to go through other people's trades inside of my Discord who are also looking for the same thing. And I'm going to break down their trades and I'm going to break down where their entries and exits may be. And if you are dedicated to learning the strategy, you will then be a part of the larger collective hive mind brain that is searching, scanning, all for one setup that gives us these type of candles, that gives us these type of plays. And Lulu today was a 300+% trade. I know some of you guys out here that are watching right now caught it. I know a lot of people in the Discord caught it as well. But this is, again, going back to the strategy and finishing up this explanation. Lulu, right? Again, price do you post your entries? By the time I post an entry, listen, guys, I've been where you're at. I bought somebody's course. I've been scammed. I tried to follow signals. I've watched thousands of other people try to follow signals, and I have never in my life met anybody who is financially stable and continuing to make money because of signals. And I'm going to tell you how it goes. You join a signal group. You know nothing. You take a couple signals. It goes great. You're now convinced that this has to be how you make money in the future. You then start learning. You get a little bit of information and your trades start going to shit. Because you cannot mix being stupid with being smart. You can't. You can't try to be dumb and just take something while also simultaneously having half-assed pieces of knowledge on what exactly is going on without that being considered a fucking variable. Is that not something that you're going to be thinking about while that trade is going up? It's better that you know nothing. It's better that you know nothing. So if you're going to take signals, be stupid. Just fucking let it all out. But if you're going to do it, stop letting them take advantage of you and your motivation to make money. Period, end of story, because that's all it's doing. If I sell you signals, I am taking advantage of one of your biggest weaknesses and every human's biggest weakness, which is instant gratification. It sucks, but it is the nature of the game. So anyway, Lulu, price falls, price loses its floor. It worked very, very hard to hold on to that floor, right, folks? But as price moves down, it runs into the 50% mark of this box. Again, volume profile tells me that volume is concentrated at its highest at the 50% mark of every box. Even if you don't believe my theory, that is a fact. That is not my opinion. That is something that I figured out via volume profile. If I find a clean box, clean area where price is controlled equally on both sides, that is where the volume will be, at the 50% mark. So when price comes back down to retest or move or loses the top of it, it will be cost basis that will be the biggest litmus test for whether you can continue moving south. Price immediately reverses, and not only does it reverse, when you bounce, if you have the question, is this going to keep going? You can answer that question by whether or not price has reclaimed the floor that it lost. All right, everybody hear me on that? If you are a seller and you push price down and you want to know whether this cost basis can send you back up and into this mark of 189 or 190, how do you figure that out? Well, sellers have a job to do, and that is to keep buyers away from their floors, away from what they controlled. And if you can keep that computer system from being activated by keeping price rejecting or from not settling on that floor, you have an opportunity to keep pushing price lower. However, if price gets pushed back up in your face and into your average, where the majority of you and your boys, this is you and your boys, right? This is the squad. And all your boys are at the 50% mark, arm in arm. And that shit, they get broken through. You're cooked, brother. You're cooked, brother. So with the empty space directly up above, I'm looking for price to not only push those sellers out, but also initialize a quick squeeze, right? And in this case, whenever you have empty space like this, you're going to measure from the bottom to the top of each structure, and you'll find that that is exactly where we hit today. It is Red Rover. Yeah, I used to use that example. Red Rover, I'm going to knock you boys out at the 50% mark. And when I tell you guys that I am looking to do this and this alone, because why would I risk my money anywhere else? Why would I put my money into anything that confuses me when this makes sense? And dollars. So where am I entering? I can either use the floor. Again, think of every single one of these things as a wall, right? So look at price. Price hits cost basis and it touches the floor. So the floor is an acceptable area to place a stop loss, but you are not guaranteed continuation to the upside. Is that clear? So If your floor is recovered, you're at an advantage as a buyer, but you have not won. And I have seen it where cost basis will reject, just like it does here, but flip it upside down. So you can use the floor as a stop loss, but you are not guaranteed a new high until cost basis is broken. So you would add a week of expiration because you are unconfirmed. And then at that point, you have cost basis, which this morning, yesterday's high, or that high right here from Monday, would be an acceptable place to enter that trade. I swung this. So what is the best video I can watch on your YouTube as a strategy? Dude, I have a lot. Everything that I'm doing for you guys right now, I've done before. I've already explained it. Yeah, essentially. So you can go to my playlist, drop a comment and a like. You know, it's good to know that you guys are who's watching. Make sure you subscribe. But you go to the playlist over here to your right, educational, and like I said, there is a lot of time, right? I've got an hour here, 2 hours here, 3 hours there, an hour and 45 minutes. Again, I think they're all, you know, I don't watch my own videos, so you'd have to ask people, honestly, which one their favorite is. But it's all explaining the same thing. So you guys have more than enough information. If you want it all, if you want me to teach it to you live, that's where the Potterbox Workshop is. So like I have, if you want more of my time, that's where I charge. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I created the system. I spend every single day teaching it. So if you want me to teach you live, that's my time and my effort, and I charge for that. But if you do not, and you have the energy, focus, and attention span to get on this and actually learn and ask me questions as you go through this stuff and write your questions down and ask me on YouTube and ask me on TikTok and ask me inside of my free Discord, that is where you have the opportunity to do it on your fucking own. And I don't want your money or need it. It's just something that if I make money off of it, cool. If I don't, I make a lot of money trading. So I'm a full-time healthcare worker and it's just too much. I'd love to learn more. So you need to focus on, if you're a newbie in Forex, then you have to learn the CRT. No, I do not. Ideal. Can you not try to sell anything in here, please? The king of market structure, help traders, Pete. If you're trading Forex, dude, I have no respect for you at all, man. I have zero respect for you at all. You might as well just turn face, brother. I do not want to hear it. Please keep that Forex stuff out of here, brother. First, I'm paying... Dude, do you see that? All these people's mothers could be so proud of them, but instead they choose to do this with their lives. Message me for $5,000. Get out of here. Please, can I join? That's entirely up to you. That's entirely up to you. You got to ask yourself, are you ready to join? Do you actually want to sit down and dedicate yourself to learning this strategy so that way you can do this on your own? Are you okay with the ups and downs that's going to come with it? As you learn and probably try to run yourself face for everybody's different. I have new people who they don't do anything. They don't trade. They just listen. They just watch. They just learn. And those people, I can't show you too much. Let's see if I can sneak a little piece of it. Well, actually, let me just say that this person just passed their fourth funded, and they've only been trading for a year. He took his time. He asked me a fuck ton of questions, and he has now got his fourth funded account, and he has made over, I think, close to $30,000 in this short part of the year. So, how long did it take for me to become profitable? About 2 years, 2.5 years, but I lost about $80,000 doing it. So consistently stacking my money, that was 2 years. How does one get a funded account? You got to be good as fuck at a strategy, because otherwise you're going to fall into the trap. The workshop is discounted right now. So, I mean, again, if you want to be in class March 1st, if you just want to check out the Discord and just see what it's like to be a part of it, I have a monthly, but how old am I? I'm 34. I'm about to be 34. I know I look like I'm not 34, but damn, I was mad. I lost 170 today. Yeah, Larissa, I lost $80,000 And let me tell you guys a quick rundown of this whole debacle. Because I lost $80,000 in succession. I would take a very small amount of cash with this. I would take $50, $100, and I would within a month literally hit like 9 to 10K. And I mean, even my friends were like, bro, how the fuck are you doing this? And in my mind, I had it that I needed to be a scalper. And the only thing that was missing from my my holster was essentially capital. And so 10K, if I hit 10K, I could be a day trader. Listen, I blew my account more than 8 times in a row. And this was starting with less than $3,500 altogether put into it. And dude, that shit aged me. That shit, I gave up on trading. I quit. I knew I had something that I was clicking. But I quit because I was like, dude, my family needs this. I need this. And I just let $80,000 slip through my fucking fingers like an idiot. And then about a month or two later, I had this fucking stupid epiphany, because it's stupid that it took me so long to think of it. But I was like, all right, well, how about this? Every single time I get to 10K or get anywhere remotely close, I pull it out and I start over again. And I'll prove to myself that I can fucking do this. And if I can't, I'll quit, because everybody else is. And I'm glad that I did that. Yeah. I'm glad I did that. I have gray from it. Yeah. If you're new or not in the Discord, keep attending the live stream and watching YouTube. PBS works. Yeah, I mean, yeah, go to my YouTube. I almost lost everything getting into that loop. Yeah. All right. Listen, you only need like $100. Do I recommend prop firms? Grace, I would really recommend. Listen, the rules that are applied on prop firms are the hidden fucking backstage that stands behind the face of like, oh, you get all this leverage, and ooh, this is like, you get all this the ability to make 10 bands off of a $100 account, and that sounds amazing. But if you do not have a strategy, if you do not know what you are doing, you're going to prolong your journey tenfold, because not only do you have rules that you haven't yet even learned, you don't have a strategy yet, but you now have Top Step or whatever fucking funded account that is now applying rules and making you abide by them. And Lord, if that's not going to make your journey that much harder, and you're going to find yourself in a lot more difficult situations, and it's just a lot of unwanted trauma. So I tell people, start with $50, start with $100. You're testing a theory out. The goal is not to make money. The goal is to test this strategy out. Is what this lunatic talking about actually working? Proof case. You prove it to yourself. You see that it works, and if it does, right, you can build on that. And at some point, right, we've had many people in this Discord, every month they start with $500, and then at the end of the month they pull that money out because it works for them, and they make $3,000 to $4,000 extra a month, and they're building up a much larger account on the backside. There's about 20 or 30 people in the Discord who do that. So listen, okay, let me just ask you, TradeStation is a great brokerage. It's not as beginner friendly, but it is a good brokerage. I mean, if you're just starting out and you use Hood or Robinhood and Webull, I would just say be prepared to switch when the time comes if you're not going to stick with that. But it's an easy selling point. I was Apex's main investor. Oh shit. Well, then right? If that's true, then that how do these companies cannot function unless you lose. I think about that. Prop firms cannot be successful unless the majority of their clients are losing money. Juicy. Oh, juicy chop. Now, I tell you what, whenever I look at a setup like this, it actually is pretty simple, right? Overhead, just the wick. And this is on the 24-hour. We're going to do top-down analysis. Now, I look at the first red candle to my left. That's my control. We're bouncing off of it. So right now, no move. How does that look? That's chop. That's exactly what chop looks like when you're stuck in between two higher time frame levels. Price is not accepting nor denying, it is holding. And at this point, you actually have a beautiful ability to set up a trade and set your plan up, right? And you can get into the nitty gritty details of what needs to happen in order for this price to escape. First step, if you're green, you need to be outside of this control. Why is it not in the wicks? Wicks are not control unless they're all coming off the same price. Wicks are just orders getting filled, and they're pulling those orders in, and the strength and average is held at the top. So by disrupting price or seeing price close green above that, the probability of you moving up and fighting this resistance would obviously be the first bullish sign. Now, what sets this trade off, right, or gives you a better opportunity is having empty space, right? I do not care what you call it. I don't care if you call it a fair value crap. I don't give a shit. What matters is that you understand how price moves through it, and that through consolidation contraction comes expansion. And if you don't have anything to stop expansion, then you're going to expand, right? Now, I don't know what's going on right here, but I would venture to guess, right, that there's something. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the 2-hour time frame, and we're going to keep lining this up. All right. So this is not a box, but because price is held within the same range or within the same price points, we're going to consider that to be a range. The 50% mark of this range is still true. The only thing is it does not promise you a new high. Cool. We're still setting this up, so be patient. Now we're dropping down to the hourly. And what I am looking for here, guys, is I want to see a floor or something to grab onto. We're rock climbers. All right, I want you to think of this metaphorically. We're rock climbers, so we need to find the floor above us, and that's what we're looking to grab hold of. So let's look to our left. Do I see anything clear here? I do see some candle closes, but not a solid floor, so I moved to the 30-minute. Now I see it. Now I got it. All right. Step 1, 30-minute, 50-80 is going to be the first catalyst to drive price up. Second catalyst, the floor. Here's the floor. Here's the box that defends, and think about it that way, that area of fast movement that it inevitably will happen outside of that 52.38. So let's put it all together, right? We need a push over that 50.85. The first target upon that break would be 51.40. At that point, you could interpret how price is moving. If you have built boxes or built price up to that level, then you are creating and adding volume behind you, making it harder to fall and more likely to continue moving up. But when I look at this setup and I see a break over the 1, 2, 3 off the higher time frame, the only target that comes to mind is 5200 and 54.12, which is the end of that empty space overhead. That is the bullish side of this, right? Now, again, sometimes I don't need to have or be correct in my bias. I need to react accordingly. And if I'm fire with my analysis and I know where each side of that trade will go, then I should have no problem reacting accordingly. So right now, zoom in, get rid of this, and take a look. I can now show you where your downside signal is. Do you see how the 50% mark of every box is where the most volume is? And you can see that by how price behaves at that mark. So if that is where the majority of volume is at, if that is lost and a candle closes below that on the 2-hour, on the 1-hour, on the 30-minute, 15-minute gets a little squirrely, we might want to move that down to a flat 500. That's where you're looking for your leg down to 49.96. So because you are inside of a box right now, you have no obligation to be anything other than a reactor. All right, guys, I'm sleepy and I want to go hang out with my kids. So I will be back at 8:30 tomorrow morning. I know there's a lot of you on here and I would love to keep teaching, but Internet Me is still teaching right now on YouTube and you can go look it up right now. I never go to sleep on YouTube. I'm always up and I'm indefinitely there. I have kids. Yes, I have I got a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old, my friends. I've been a dad for a while. Or as they call Unc. Damn, you look so young. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Last thoughts on IWM? Let's look at it real quick. So let's just do it this way, right? 266.65. That is the previous top. That's what you fell under. Got to be bearish, right? Not full time. But then I look and I see a red candle close right here, and you've already tapped that. So now this is where you're in the ball pit. You really are. Now I'll be honest with you. I've got my suspicions, and they look like that. And that doesn't mean that we cannot continue moving higher, because we absolutely can. But the fact that price did expand, don't you dare do it, HD. Oh, yeah, baby. Looking good. Looking good. Looking good. That might be a bangarito and cheese tomorrow, dude. I don't know. Am I a millionaire? I don't usually share my net worth, but we've seen numbers close, around, above. Hide your wealth, people. Don't tell people what you're worth. That's what people do to sell shit. All right. Because Alex Trades is a trust fund, baby. All right. Damn, bro. Yeah, that was one of the best advice I've ever gotten in my life, because I lost friends, I lost family when people started seeing my money. So now nobody knows. And because nobody knows, nobody makes a judgment based on that. And I get to pass off as a regular human being. So it's taken me a while, and I do have a lot of money in that I've made from options in equity and dividends. So that way my money is also working for me on the backside. All right. Anyway, with IWM, the fact that you're still not back up above 267 is just kind of bearish. So, all right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You can actually go watch all of this that I just went over on YouTube. The last live video that I did, it's at the end. Peace. See you guys later. Yeah, there is a discount on the workshop if you do want to be there on March 1st, or if you just want to be in